Born into a declined aristocratic family, Gloria started her own career as an adventurer to search for lost treasures. Her primary weapon is an MD2 double-barreled shotgun, which can deal high burst damage in a melee fight. Take note, the shotgun has damage fall-off for longer-range combat, making it unsuitable for mid-range and long-range combat. To make up for that, Gloria's active ability allows her to quickly switch to the second weapon, a full-auto ZMR assault rifle. The rifle has a high recoil, so Gloria has to hold it firm while shooting. After launching her active ability, Gloria holds her rifle to her shoulder to shoot, thus reducing her movement speed. So Gloria's position should be carefully considered when using the rifle. Gloria's ultimate ability is a quicksand bomb. This ability allows Gloria to throw a bomb that will count down. The bomb will generate a slowing field where it lands and deals damage to them once. When the countdown ends, the bomb will explode and deal high damage to all enemies. By pressing the ultimate ability button, Gloria will hold the bomb and predict its trajectory so that she can aim where the bomb will land. As the bomb will bounce off walls, Gloria can make good use of them to throw the bomb and reflect it to where she can't reach directly. Gloria's second ultimate ability is an amplifier module. You and your teammates can amplify your damage by shooting through the walls of this pyramid. But do note that this buff cannot stack. The adventurer always moves as quick as the wind. After reaching level 9, Gloria can equip the passive ability, Dashing. This ability allows Gloria to move faster if she has not attacked or been attacked for several seconds. Gloria can deal with enemies in different ranges by switching between shotgun and rifle. Using her passive ability, she can retreat to safety as necessary or return to the battlefield quickly after being respawned. The ZMR assault rifle has high burst damage, so it's recommended to wait for enemies by hiding around corners. Gloria has limited sight and mobility while using the rifle, so caution must be taken with tank characters like Victor or Javelin. With a quicksand bomb in hand, Gloria can take advantage of its slowing effect and burst damage, while dealing high melee damage with her shotgun to turn the tide. That's all for today's T3 Hero Guide. See you next time!
Hualing excels in mid to long-range combat. Her weapon is a compound bow. The longer she charges, the faster it hits, and the more damage it deals. With sufficient accuracy, charging it halfway is enough to take down the majority of opponents, but not for tanks. Hualing's active ability is Snare Bomb. Press and hold this ability to hurl the bomb with precision. The bomb will slow down your opponents. When hit, your normal attack hit rate will also increase. Now she's coordinating with her team. The slowed down opponent isn't escaping. Hualing's first ultimate is Blast Arrow. Using the ability, she flies into the air and fires 3 arrows that blast and deal massive damage. During this, Hualing gains a temporary shield. Leverage the ability to defend yourself, or even better, strike back. Her second ultimate, Whirlwind, is a crowd control ability. A whirlwind charges forward, stunning and damaging anyone on its path. When the situation is tough, Whirlwind can help destroy opponents' formation. Look at this, Christina just launched her ultimate, but the opponent ran away. Now, Hualing unleashes her Whirlwind. No one will ever escape again. Hua Ling's passive ability is infrared scan. Once in a while, she launches a fan-shaped scanning area. This will discover their position. If someone's hiding, she can create a fast combo to take them down. Trap them with Snare Bomb, and then use Blast Arrow to complete the takedown. Hua Ling, the art of ancient archery married with modern fashion. Unlock Hua Ling in Season 1 Battle Pass and join her in the arena.
Quadruple kill! Killing spree!
Most requested features plus. Who's chemist? Discover history.
Optic disruptor device.
Will this make them stronger than ever?
Biggest update to T3 Arena yet.
Iris is a support hero. She improves the team's survivability by constantly healing her teammates. Her primary weapon is Energy Repeater. Its high firing rate makes it suitable for mid-ranged and melee fights. But the weapon has a big flaw. It takes a long time to reload. This makes Iris very vulnerable in the middle of a fight. Iris's active ability is Piebot. The little robot heals a single target the instant it's deployed. It then continues to heal teammates near the target. However, there's a range limit when deploying Piebot. To maximize its healing, Iris would often deploy it right when the battle starts, or the moment she's close enough to her teammates. Iris constantly pays attention to teammates' health so she can support in time. Now her teammate is in grave danger. Iris didn't hesitate to deploy Piebot for an instant heal. At the right moment, her healing can completely change the game. Her ultimate ability is Healing Field. Iris summons a large Piebot which quickly and constantly heals her teammates within its large range. This provides an important window for her team to gain grounds in the battle. Healing Field can also save the day when enemies are dealing high burst damage with their ultimates. Their health bar looks very unhealthy. Jabali is taking the chance to knock them all out in one go with his ultimate. But Iris wouldn't give him that chance. She unleashed her ultimate. Her team is saved. Iris's passive ability is Med Sampling. When Iris knocks out an opponent, a small health pack will drop, and it can only be used by her team. Even if she's a support hero, she shouldn't ignore dealing damage to opponents. This will actually make her an even better support. Sindri is a flanker with strong firepower. Her primary weapon is Plasma Drill, which shoots 3 projectiles at a time. The projectiles deal a small area of effect damage, allowing her to pin down opponents in both mid and long-range fights. In fact, she can increase her accuracy by shooting at the ground. This will indirectly strike the opponents with its area of effect damage. Sindri's active ability is Rage Ball. It's a turret that can be deployed anywhere close to her. Once deployed, Rage Ball will automatically attack opponents within the range, giving priority to Sindri's current target. It takes a long time for her to wait to deploy again if her turret is destroyed, so Sindri often keeps a close eye on its status. Her passive ability, Rage Ball Assist, grants her a temporary shield whenever she recycles Rage Ball. So her best strategy is to recall and deploy it frequently to maximize its usage. Opponents' movements can be greatly limited by Rage Ball. Sometimes they're surprised by it being hidden in a blind spot. Sindri also likes to deploy it for cover. She'd know when Rage Ball attacks someone in ambush. Sindri's ultimate ability is Rage Ball Upgrade. The upgraded turret provides a temporary shield and automatically tracks down nearby opponents with powerful laser beams. Now, Sindri knows her ultimate is ready. To make sure she deals the absolute most damage, she deploys her turret until it's completely destroyed. The opponent thought he could deal with it. And then, Sindri's ultimate. With her ultimate, Rage Ball cools down faster than normal. Now, she can deploy it again, and it's too late for the opponent to regret his decision to engage. Sindri's second ultimate ability is Rage Ball Drop Pod. It provides up to 5 temporary shields for teammates. She wants every teammate to get that shield. By deploying it near the respawn point, she can do just that. Sindri also likes to deploy Rage Ball together with Drop Pod on high grounds. This will greatly increase the turret's endurance, making it hard for opponents to destroy it, forcing them to take another path. Diggy is a diver. She excels at melee fighting. Her primary weapon is an MD2 double-barreled shotgun. It can deal high burst damage in melee fights. But beware, the shotgun has a damage fall-off, so it's not suitable for mid and long-range fights. Diggy's active ability is Illusory Touch. She transforms into an orca and hides under the water. During her transformation, Diggy moves faster and can mitigate damages. Now she transforms back to her human form, dealing damage to opponents and slowing them down. Despite her powerful look as an orca, Diggy can be very fragile. She has to avoid taking damage while looking for opportunities to attack. Look at this. Diggy managed to avoid this burst of damage. Now it's her chance to shine. And because Illusory Touch can be charged up twice, she can transform and escape in time when she knows she's in danger. Diggy's ultimate ability is Illusory Blast. She transforms and jumps 4 times in a row to deal damage and knock back opponents. The range, however, is quite small. See how Diggy does her combo. She approaches her opponents with Illusory Touch, and then Blast. What a surprise. When her teammates are in danger, Diggy could save them by knocking back opponents with her ultimate. With her passive ability, Particle Mending, Diggy possesses high survivability. After transforming, her health will gradually restore. This can completely change the game for Diggy. As a diver, she has to rely on herself in most cases. When she runs into multiple opponents during an attack, she can use Illusory Touch to escape. And with Particle Mending, she can launch her next attack again, as soon as she's back, stronger than ever.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. Welcome into TapTap All-Stars featuring T3 Arena. My name is Grandmaster Goj. I'm joined by the illustrious, the wonderful, the well-known and powerful Lance Powerbang. How are you doing, my friend?
Grandmaster Goj, always good to be back at the desk with you. I am fantastic today, and a big shout out to the T3 Arena fans out there joining us in the chat. They are hyped up, and so am I for one of the greatest new games to hit the market in quite some time. You can find that on the TapTap store. Goj, what are we in store for today?
Look, I couldn't be more excited to talk through the format, but first I've got to tell everyone at home, TapTap helps mobile gamers discover hidden gems game titles, all while fitting in your pocket. No more missing out on captivating experiences. Go check out TapTap now. All you have to do, go down to the pinned post down below in all of the live streams, as well as the description of this VOD later. Lance, let's get into the format. Let's talk about what we're playing for. Let's talk about how this is going to operate, because we have some amazing creators competing today that we're going to talk through. It's 4 teams of 3 creators each competing for our prize pool. Now, we're going to start with a round robin. It's a best of 3. Each team will play each other once, and then we'll rank all of the teams based on their results and put them into a bracket. If you're the top seed, you'll be playing the lowest seed, and as those teams play each other in best of 3s and then a final best of 5 for the finals, we will crown our champion. Now, we do have a $10,000 prize pool to play for today, with $6,000 of that going to first place, $3,000 of that going to second place, and of course $500 a piece going to third and fourth place. So everybody will win at least something, but of course that'll be split between all 3 creators, so you want to go for that lion's share at the very top.
Incredibly excited to see who perseveres on top, and we do have some studs in the T3 Arena showing up to participate today. 4 different teams, as you mentioned, and I'd love to hop into those right now. First, we have Aletta's Avengers. It's formed by Wasim, Lex, and the Rodeo. Next up, we have Ruby's Rangers, who's comprised of Corey, Winsanity, and Tag. Next, we have Hunter's Heroes. Representing Hunter, we've got This Is Chris, the Saurus PG, and the one and only Orange Juice. And last but certainly not least, it's Gloria's Gladiators. Represented by Bobby Plays, Kairos Time, and T3 God. Sounds pretty fearsome, don't you think, Coach?
Yeah, no, couldn't agree more. It was a lot of fun kind of listening into some of their comms. We'll see what they're able to do today. But let's look at the schedule. You can see it again on your screen right now. And to describe this in more detail, a best of 3 is very simple. You play potentially a total of 3 rounds, but it's the first to 2 wins will actually secure your match win and put you into the next round. So you can see where everybody lines up. We're going to start with the Aletta's Avengers against Ruby's Rangers. Then we're going to have Hunter's Heroes versus Gloria's Gladiators, and so on and so forth. Each team will play each other 1 time to give a total of a 3-game record. We can explain that more down the line, but Lance, I really like this format because look at the different game modes and maps that we get to play, like Team Deathmatch to start, which is pretty simple. You've probably seen this before on Penthouse Gallery. Team Deathmatch is just 3v3, first to 20 eliminations, but talk to me about these next 2.
Absolutely. Team Deathmatch, pretty straightforward. It's pew-pew, get more kills than the other guys, but we also have Payload Race to look forward to. We're going to see that on the Warehouse Soda 1 map, and that's going to be incredible as each team tries to get their forklift and jetpack featuring a payload all the way from one side of the map to the other. It's going to be incredibly exciting. And then in the third and final game, if we do in fact go to the tiebreaker, we'll be looking at Crystal Assault, where each team has a crystal near their spawn, and the opposing team will be trying to take it from 100% health down to 0 over the course of the game, and we'll be looking to play that one on Energy Canyon, which is one of my personal favorite maps.
I know we were talking a little bit before the broadcast today about your favorite game modes, favorite maps, and I know you love Crystal Assault. We'll actually have a chance to see more of that later in the broadcast in case a lot of these teams win in the first 2 maps. But regardless, I believe our games are getting set up. Game number 1 is about to be underway, and as a reminder, Aletta's Avengers versus Ruby's Rangers is who's about to play. But before we get there, if you didn't know, in TapTap right now, you can actually vote to determine who you think is going to win. You can type a comment down below on their post, and if you guess the right team, you can actually receive some in-game rewards. So I know in all of our broadcasts, we have a link for that. It's prediction number 1. So go check that out. !prediction will trigger that command, and you'll be able to see that link. All right. Now, as you go and do that, you predict your winners. Lance and I are going to be hopping into the first map of the day. And again, a potential of 3 maps for this matchup. But Lance, the big question that I have is who's going to come out swinging first?
It's a great question. If I had to place my wager, I'm going Aletta's Avengers in this one because why their name starts with A, I'm preferring the alphabetical order. That's clearly scientific, my friend. We've got Wasim, Rodeo, and Lex coming out of Spawn here, going up against Surtag, Corey, and Insanity. This is a great map. It's got good sight lines on the top level, but beware, there is a bottom level to navigate as well. We'll check out here as we've got Scotty here going up against Rodeo, trying to get a peek.
There are a ton of different heroes, 20, I believe, to be clear, that you could pick from, and all of our creators have an opportunity to play any of those heroes, including the brand new chemist that was just added to, I think, what, 48 hours ago or so? So I'll be curious to see what some of these team comps will be. But again, in Team Deathmatch, the only kind of objective here is, well, find enemies and secure some eliminations, which it looks like Aletta on your screen right now trying to secure one. And great movement, great shots, and fantastic execution, finding one, looking for the second. That's Corey on the other side, but no, goes down from a distance.
You know what I love is Aletta's Avengers coming out strong here, and Aletta herself on the map. You'll see her dart around, has the ability to phase in and out of battle, kind of teleporting, if you will, making her a slippery one to get a hold of for sure. But you'll see the teams regroup and come out from spawn. We currently have 2-2. Remember, in Team Deathmatch, it's the first to 20 kills. We'll take the map.
Great point. We're going to start talking about team comps soon, but I think team chemistry and a little bit of strategy is going to really dictate on who is going to come out on top. And we've got a couple big hitters competing today. We have the Rodeo, who is one of the community creators that actually earned his way into this event by winning a free-for-all tournament, I believe, that the T3 Arena and TapTap communities put on. So I'm sure he'll be doing a bit of IGLing, that in-game leader position, to help lead the team to victory. And then we're going to see a number of different heroes, but Scotty is one that, for if you're trying it out for the first time, you'll certainly get a chance to play her, and she's a great hero to use, especially because she has that web shooter that can stun enemies, then you can go for headshots.
I will stay with Scotty specifically, played by Corey right now, is the opening hero of the game, and you can see how she throws her guitar, plays the music, and pushes the enemies back. She is the starter hero, but also not one to be taken lightly. She packs a punch and has great crowd control on top of that. And I also do want to point out that when Sanity is coming to battle playing Hua Ling. Hua Ling is known amongst the community as one of the strongest heroes in the game. She brings a bow and arrow, and just like that, you see Win land a shot that does significant damage here to Wasim.
It's really cool to bring in all of these mobile creators from all over the scene, and they've played a number of titles on their own broadcasts and live streams and VOD-based content, and some may be in a better position to do well today than others, but maybe we'll be surprised. Some of our FPS players certainly are going to feel fairly at home with this very clean arena shooter, and some maybe not so much. So it's cool to see Winsanity really playing one of the highest skill level heroes in the game. It is a very difficult hero to use, but if you can use them correctly, you can pack a punch. And well, there's exactly what we're talking about. Little headshot around the corner to take the lead by 1, and no, make it 2. Now, something I want to mention here, Lance, is that yes, we are playing to 20 eliminations here in Team Deathmatch, but there's also a timer, and you can see we only have 90 seconds left in this round, so we really want to be cognizant of that round timer more than anything, because I can't imagine they're going to make it all the way to 20 elims.
Absolutely not. It looks like we've got the Avengers playing slightly behind right now. 6 points to their name. The letter herself coming out. Wasim picking up some damage here. Getting a win. Some trouble. Takes down Win, and ultimately the trade. Corey coming back, getting the kill. And that is huge. It keeps the margin at
next.
2.
Well, we've got couple different players trying to play next to each other. Corey looking a bit low across the way, but Winsanity right around the corner as well. They want to make sure that they are able to have a little bit of team chemistry here to make sure they can stay alive. I think playing next to each other as teammates is super helpful. You can play the trades, you can play the corners together as one plays the injury man, the other comes around and plays cleanup. The question becomes, who's going to be able to do that first? It's 9-8. We've got 36 seconds left.
I absolutely love the pings that are going
right
out
now,
from Hua Ling.
Like Lex is able to make some moves from a distance, but no, on your screen, Scotty ripping a new one into the opposing team, securing potentially a round 1 victory. A very impressive shot from Sertag and Corey working in tandem, and then Winsanity playing back up with Hua Ling and able to almost secure another elimination. This Aletta is very difficult to lock down, but as the timer ticks, it won't matter. We're red team on your screen will be the victors.
That was pretty incredible, Goj. I don't know if you got me, but man, what an incredible little trade there. We had Wasim playing Aletta, and Aletta is a lot to handle. She doesn't do a lot of damage all at the same time, but is persistent, has a lot of great movement there. Saw some great plays from Wasim, from Winsanity. We also saw Corey busting out some shots there. Really, really like it. I'd say the first couple of, map play there, I would say that Hua Ling really stood out to me, as well as Scotty, as really, really strong heroes.
No, I couldn't agree more. I think one of the things worth noting too is that was the first round of the first matchup of the entire event. And you could tell there was, I don't know if it was nerves or more so just trying to play conservative, right? Most of the teams were backing up. They were trying to play their trades. They were trying to play together. And then when they were able to get a pick, it was like, hey, all systems go. Let's run at our opponents. Let's find the enemies and secure a full team wipe, which then was able to make them, go up ahead. I mean, I think that was the big key to success there, was when to push aggressively and then when to play conservatively.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree more. And it's one of the keys I think we'll see as this event goes on. Having those heroes that can actually pose a bit of a distraction, the Alettas, the Johnny Jets, even Shell to an extent. We take a look here at Hua Ling. We'll bring up her ability. She's got the compound bow that does an absolute ton of damage, 35 base. But man, if you land a headshot, that is one-shot ability on almost all of the heroes in the game. She also has the snare bomb, which makes a great combo. Can throw a bomb that actually slows down her opponent so she can line up that headshot. She's also got her ultimate ability where she'll hover in the sky and drop down the blast arrows. 3 huge shots that's liable to take out any singular hero, but also is great for dealing with groups.
Well, I'll be curious to see what some of our other teams are going to be building into their team comps. I did get a chance to kind of listen in on some of the Discord communications that Glorious Gladiators were having, kind of led by T3 God, the other community member that is a part of this event. And T3 God swears by Hua Ling and his favorite hero to play. But the cool thing about this tap motion we're seeing right now, that means we've got some replays for you. All right, so first and foremost, I want you to go check out T3 on TapTap right now. All you got to do is go down to the link in the description in the pinned messages. But let's take a look at some of the replays, some of our favorite moments from this first game.
Absolutely. Hua Ling doing work here. You can see her getting lined up, dropping the hammer on Wasim in spawn. But I will say, in game number 1, these guys are going to quickly learn that hanging out in the opponent's spawn probably a bit disrespectful, but also not the smartest place to be on the map. So we'll learn the maps as we go on. Excited to see what's coming up next.
No, I couldn't agree more. I think we've got Payload Race next, so a much more objective-based map. I want to get a chance to talk about Payload Race and tell you a little bit more about it. And I know we were talking about this before the broadcast here. Payload Race, Lance, is very strategic, so take us through it.
Absolutely. You've got forklifts carrying a payload powered by jetpacks cruising through the map here. And the way you get those to progress is you simply stand in the vicinity. If you stand near your payload, those jets turn on and start cruising through the map. You can see it's a bit of a tug of war, so to speak, trying to get your payload all the way to the other side. The interesting part is your opponent can stand next to your payload and actually send it in the opposite direction that you'd like it to go. And we'll be excited to watch both of these teams as they each try to get their payload to the finish line first, and the first to do that will take the map.
It'll be really fun to see which of these teams will elect to go for some new team comps. I know one of the more traditional ways to build out a team is to have 1 tank, 1 healer, 1 DPS player or damage player, a hero on your team. And then sometimes they like to go, hey, let's have 1 tank or 1 healer and a couple DPS players. And of course, Hua Ling was the most valuable hero in the last one. This time around, we've got a new hero on the screen. We've got some Jabalis. Talk to me a little bit about Jabali and why he could be so useful in Payload Race.
Jabali is the classic tank. He's the biggest, beefiest character in T3 Arena. And the cool thing about Jabali, as you can see Lex there, he's got the ability to pull out a shield. And not only does he do decent damage in close range, he has a consistent outflow of damage, but he is the guy that's going to absorb punishment. At max level, can absorb 21,000 damage in that shield and has 12,000 HP on him. So he can just take all kinds of punishment and abuse.
As a reminder, this is a best of 3 series, and so when we're talking about their hero changes, these are still the same creators. You recognize their faces down below, and so far so good for both teams. Fairly still neck in neck. These forklifts move fairly quickly, so you want to be kind of cognizant of where the opponent's forklift is, because like Lance mentioned before, you can actually push that back, and you can see some of the teams right now trying to do that. Surtag and Corey in particular leading the charge, playing the aggressive stance.
You see on the top of the screen, you've got the indicators for progress so far, and it looks like we've got the blue team making steady progress, but the red team getting halfway there. Called out, though, looks like at 51%, but they're going to keep things moving.
As a reminder, too, Ruby's Rangers is the team that won last map. That's Winsanity, that's Corey, that's Surtag, and they're trying to go back-to-back here on the wins, because with a best of 3, you only have to win twice. So if they're able to win here in Payload Race, that will move them forward with 1 matchup win under their belt, and we'll head into the new creators matchups in a moment. But I've got to say, Lance, you and I have had a chance to play quite a bit of T3. Aletta, a very difficult hero to use, but quite deadly if used effectively. And Wasim seemingly is doing a great job of playing her, able to take out the tank of Jabali, but also playing the distraction role. You can almost play sort of an off-tank role with her if you're able to distract the other team and just draw most of their fire.
I think there's several characters that do a great job at not only being useful, but also providing distraction. I think Aletta has to be at the top of that list, along with Johnny Jet. We also have Shell in that category as well, but really, really fantastic play so far by Wasim. Aletta really controlling the battlefield, and Corey's got that payload for the blue team headed the wrong direction. You can see the percent on the top diminishing, going the wrong way. Do we have a comeback in order here? It looks like we've got a tie, and the red team has overtaken the lead when Sanity, Surtag, and Corey now pushing the correct way towards the finish line as we've got a nice skirmish going on in the middle of the battlefield.
I think if Ruby's Rangers have a chance to win this map and potentially win the entire matchup, it really is going to fall on Surtag's shoulders. Needs to play that Jabali correctly, throw up the shields to cover his allies on his team, and if he can do that, especially utilizing the ults correctly, I think they've got a great shot at winning this. They do have quite a sizable lead now, but could swing the other direction if we're not careful. We've got Gloria on our screen right now showing what she's capable of, able to swap between different styles of weapon. You have the AR as her ability and the shotgun as their base weapon, and you can see they're going to continue to push back their opponents' forklift and their teams forward. This is exactly how you want to execute Payload Race.
Yeah, you mentioned the use of ultimate being kind of a crucial thing, and I absolutely saw that. Right after you said it, you saw Jabali busting out the Arc Storm there with that spinning ability, just completely destroying with his weapon as he spins freely. And then we have Gloria with the quicksand bomb, was able to pick up a kill as well. But it looks like the red team now cruising towards the finish line. Can Lex do anything to stop them? It's got to be difficult, but it looks like 90% now, the final 10% in short sight now for the red team.
Wasim is doing everything they can by themselves to hold them off, but no, Ruby's Rangers take the map 2 victory, and I believe just took round 1 matchups as well. A very impressive start to the event. Shout out to Ruby's Rangers for putting in the work early and really just knocking away 2 wins back to back. We're not even going to see round 3 because we're going to head to the next matchup next.
Absolutely. For those of you guys at home that are just getting into T3 Arena, make sure you download it, link in description and all of that. But I would love to point out one of my favorite heroes that you get early on in the game. That is Gloria. You can bring up Gloria onto the screen. She's got some amazing abilities, and the ability not only to use an AR, like for long range engagements, but she also has the ability to swap over to a shotgun. So you see her MD2 double-barreled shotgun does significant damage close range, but her active ability, that CMR assault rifle, absolutely rips through opponents. So really, really versatile, short and long range, and her ultimate ability is really fantastic as well. But here is the first round has come to our completion, and we have Ruby's Rangers taking both maps, and they will take round number 1 with a 2-0 score, which means Hunter's Heroes and Gloria's Gladiators will face off next in our round 2 of our T3 Arena TapTap All-Stars Cup here.
That was a super exciting payload race. I'm excited to see more nail biters as well in that Crystal Assault, that elusive Crystal Assault. The question becomes, when will we see that round 3? Will it be the next matchup or will it be 3 from now? But regardless, as a reminder, go check out T3 on TapTap right now. All you have to do, go down to click the link in the description and the pinned messages and all the live broadcasts, and you'll be able to do that. And we also will have a prediction as well for round 2. You can go check out on the TapTap post. Look at some of these replays. You can see the Aletta really doing work on Jabali, and I think her mobility is what really sets her apart as a hero.
Absolutely. The mobility is absolutely huge for Loletta. You can see Gloria on the screen now doing work, and that will do it for replays for round number 1. We've got our second game in the books and gearing up now for the next round, where we'll have 2 different teams taking each other on and seeing the battlefield for the very first time. If you had any takeaways there, Coach, what were they?
I was watching the gameplay, and of course, it moves so quickly, and I think the teams that have some chemistry, they have some players that have been putting in the work. Some of our community members that are a part of this event, I think, can lead the charge on the way you want to execute some of these objective maps. I think Team Deathmatch will be the big toss-up, and one of the things that was so successful in TDM that set Ruby's Rangers apart was the ability to take down squads quickly, but not do it too aggressively. You want to stay patient. You want to try to find that one pick to where you have the player advantage, and then you push the equation. They were able to do that not only with their team comp, with Hualing in the background, but also with the way they were executing. And so as we take a look at all of our teams again, as a reminder, it will be Hunter's Heroes versus Gloria's Gladiators next. They're on deck. They're getting set up right now. And again, we've got a couple different ways you can earn some rewards. So if you're waiting, I've seen you all in chat, whether you're in the T3 or you're in the TapTap chat. If you want a chance to get some rewards, there's a couple different ways to do that. Number 1, I believe we're going to pop up a code on screen that all of you can redeem right here. Good Stuff 1. Go type it in. The way you do this, it's very simple. Up in the top right hand corner of your T3 arena, there's a menu button. Click that, go down to options, click that button, then head to account, and in the right side right hand corner there will be redeem code. That's how you do it. Look, Lance has already got it up on the screen right now. We're playing in between rounds. I mean, we're too locked in, but you can type in this code right now for your chance at some rewards, and we'll have a ton of other ways that you can earn rewards, not only by typing in these codes, but like I mentioned, if you go into the live streams right now, specifically TapTap live streams, ! prediction, we'd have another prediction in TapTap currently where you get to predict who you think will win between Hunter's Heroes or Gloria's Gladiators. Now, Lance, I don't want to sway the vote here, but as we had a chance to look at some of our creators, we haven't seen them compete yet. Who are you going to go with in matchup number 2?
I'm going with the tried and true method here. We're going with the alphabetical order. The Gloria's Gladiators does come first. I like Gloria more than Hunter anyways as a beginner hero. So we're going to go with Gloria. We'll pick Gloria's Gladiators.
Okay, I will stand on the other side of that equation. I will say Gloria's Gladiators were looking pretty strong, and they were spending some time practicing before the event. T3 God, Kairos in particular, were working together on some team comps, and like I was saying, I had a chance to listen in. I have a feeling Kairos is going to be playing a little bit of Christina, maybe a Mark or a Sindri, depending, and we are certainly going to see a Hualing from T3 God, and if not Hualing, I think Kazuma was his second choice, so certainly some high-skilled players, and I think T3 God is going to be leading the charge.
I cannot wait to see it. We are prepping right now. Again, back to the Penthouse Gallery for our team deathmatch in game number 1. We've got T3 God, Kairos Time, and Bobby Plays. Get ready to take on Orange Juice, Desaurus, PG, and this is Chris.
We are underway. You can already see Hualing going to work currently. T3 God is actually pushing the equation. Has already found one pick on the Scotty on the other side. Finds the second. A full team wipe right off the bat. This is what I was talking about. My team has gone down, but your team, Lance, T3 God is leading the charge with 4 picks already.
Hualing is absolutely incredible. T3 God is living up to the name. Comes out very confidently, setting out those pings, and with a maxed out Hualing, he can actually see these characters through the wall, and this is where that ability comes in, and he gets the team wipe right there over the wall. They had to wonder where that even came from.
That's gotta feel good when you've got somebody on your team that has been playing this game since the beginning. I know this is one of the main community members that had a chance to compete and then earn his way way into the event. A lot of the same we saw from Rodeo earlier, but in this matchup, T3 God is putting in the work. Not without the support of his team, but I will say that Hualing compound bow packs a punch.
It really does. If you line up the heads as you're seeing here, it is pretty tough to deal with. 10-1 right now, and I don't know if we're going to exhaust the timer on this particular game, as T3 God is putting the team on his back right now and really showing up.
Well, and the big point to think about when you think about trying to play, arena shooters like this, specifically T3 Arena competitively, is T3 God is keeping the pressure downfield and trying to keep the other team trickling into his sightline. He'll finally go down, so this is an opportunity for Hunter's Heroes to push the equation and try to swing it back in their direction. It looks like they're able to do that thus far. You see an Osas for the first time on your screen, and this sniper is a fantastic hero, one of my favorite to play, but in close range encounters, 1v multiple situations, very difficult to execute. They're able to grab the team wipe the other direction.
Yeah, you're probably not going to see too many 1v3s with Osas in short range, and if you do, you got to tip your cap to that gentleman. But I will say, the spawn trap was on for quite some time, as we have a bit of a battling back going on right now. It does look like we are evening out a little bit, 12-7 the score. But to be clear, there are multiple exits out of spawn. You don't have to run through the same narrow pathway over and over, and I think they finally discovered just that, as we've got a comeback going on. 13-9, it's a race to 20.
I am very impressed with this comeback, and I think the big denoting factor was I have to imagine Hunter's Heroes said, all right, we've got to swing this back in our favor somehow. Let's take down T3 God, and then we cannot relent on the pressure. We need to basically do exactly what they were doing to us, and so far so good. We've almost have an even score. Finally, T3 God with the ult comes in and finds another. That's now 15-11. Lance, we've got 2 minutes left, but we only need 5 eliminations. That's less than 2 full team wipes on the side of Gloria's Gladiators. I don't know what is going to stop T3 God, but it needs to be a team fight. This team, Hunter's Heroes, have to stay together, fight as a team. I think that's their key to success.
Oh, this is incredible work right now from T3 God. He's come from behind here and sneaks up on OJ, picks up a full squad wipe right now, 18-11, and here are 2 more lined up. He connects once, takes a bit of damage, and is going to connect again. 1 more to go. Who's it going to be? And they pick up the kill for the 20 spot to finish it out.
Gloria's Gladiators take map number 1. It is a best of 3 series, so they're going to be on match point going into payload race. Now, I will say, with T3 God kind of leading the charge with Hualing, I want to pull that card back up. Let's talk through those stats, why this character is so incredibly powerful if used in the right hands, because T3 God was certainly leading the charge in TDM. Lance, my big question is Hualing going to be as effective on payload race, especially when you have the likes of maybe a Jabali on the other team throwing down that shield to provide some cover?
I would say absolutely going to be just as effective on almost every game mode right now. Hualing is definitely probably the strongest hero in the game overall, because she does have that compound bow. One-shot ability to all but I believe 3 characters in the game. The only characters able to withstand a headshot from Hualing are Ruby, Victor, and Jabali. But let's go ahead and check out some replays. And before we do, get to the link in the description and check out the TapTap store, where you can download T3 Arena amongst other titles. And there is the ultimate ability from Hualing. Floating in the sky, she is an absolute menace.
No, I think that ultimate ability, as well as that scanning radar, that passive ability that she has, especially with these maxed out characters, I think this is a key part to T3 God's success, is that he knows where the enemies are. He can then time that shot around the corner and find the elim, if not a full team wipe, if using the ultimate correctly. So very well done. Led charge by T3 God, but the teammates playing support. As we get into payload race and we start watching the team comps evolve, probably see another Hualing, but if the opposing team has a little bit of some T3 Arena IQ, they could swap it up on them and throw some maybe tanks on the other side to try to survive those penetrating shots.
I love it. We've got a Mark and a Kazuma here on the blue team here. But Kazuma, you can see he can jump up in the air and has a rocket launcher that just is absolutely devastating. Doesn't quite have the punch that a Hualing does, but can do some serious damage. But this is Chris, fires back with Scotty and takes down T3 God.
And that is going to be the key to their success. Find T3 God, make sure he cannot be a difference maker, and if you could focus him down, you then have the player advantage. Hopefully you don't lose your life in the process. Now, I do believe we're going to see certainly a modicum of different heroes this time around. It is T3 God playing Kazuma this time instead of Hua Ling, and then they also have, looks like, a Mark as well as a Ruby from the side of Kairos and Bobby Plays. So I'll be wondering what this team comp will be able to do in comparison to their opponents who are running that Jabali, that Scotty, and I believe that Gloria. If not Gloria, that actually is Iris, the support.
Absolutely. Iris is basically your typical support class. It is a healer. She can not only do a decent amount of damage, but she can use her special ability to heal her teammates and herself. Does a heal over time and an amazing initial boost of heal, so that's great. This is kind of a runaway on this one. We got the blue team. It's like T3 God supporting his team, penning everyone back with Kazuma, and they are unable to advance super far as the payload for the blue team headed down the hill towards the finish line. Red's got to play some defense here if they want to have a chance.
Right, and I think the big point to remember is it's a best of 3, so if T3 God, Kairos, and Bobby can't come out on top this time around, well, guess what? It will be done and dusted. It will be heading into matchup number 3. And so you can see Kairos is just running this payload to victory at this point. And I can only imagine this is going to be a 2-up, 2-down unless some monster effort from their opponents comes around the corner. But it essentially has to happen, well, right this second, Lance.
It really does. They have to get to the enemy payload and stop it. They have to win that fight, push it backwards, but it's not going to happen. 100% is locked in, and Gloria's Gladiators, as predicted, I might add, will emerge victorious. Going early in the alphabet always has its perks, and T3 God and crew lead their team to victory. So nice work to them.
Nice work indeed. The question is, you at home, did you place your prediction correctly? Did you vote on Gloria's Gladiators? If you know T3 Arena, you know the community, you know T3 God, you may have just won some rewards. So make sure you take a look at that in your store. Those will be added in later this week, I believe. Now, Lance, we've had a chance to watch now all of the 4 teams play. Certainly, Gloria's Gladiators looked the most may I say, powerful under the command of T3. But the good news is we're going to be able to see some new game modes down the line and some new matchups. So if there's a chance here that T3 God could be stifled by one of our first teams, maybe it's Aletta's Avengers or maybe it's Ruby's Rangers. Ruby's Rangers also looked fairly strong. They also took the 2-0 lead against Aletta's Avengers. And so could be a little bit of a more difficult back and forth.
It really could. We've still got multiple game modes that we haven't seen just yet, like Crystal Assault. We've got Clash coming up in just a little bit, so make sure you guys stay tuned. Really, really excited for that. And I was really excited to see there's 20 different heroes in the game right now. We're seeing a good mixture of them. One of the things that I think was the key in that last round, in addition to T3 God floating in the air with Kazuma just raining down rockets, I also saw that Bobby Play switched over to Mark, which is a little bit more versatile than Osas, who he was in the first round, and that really took the team to the next level. They had more than just T3 God out there to hold down those choke points, and really, Kairos time, you love to see it. He was happy to just sit on that forklift and guide that thing all the way down the hill to victory. I can't blame him at all for that approach.
No, hey, you have to play objective. It didn't matter if you found 2 eliminations the entire map, or you found 0, or you found 10. Either way, the objective is everything in Payload Race. So as a reminder, all of our replays are brought to you by TapTap, and you can check out T3 on TapTap right now. Link in the description. Those pinned messages will give you everything you need in order to do the downloads. As we take a look at some of the replays, Kazuma certainly was a strong force to be reckoned with. Certainly, if you haven't played the game too often, Moon Man himself flying in the skies is difficult to track down.
He really is, but one of the things is if you do see a Kazuma on the other team, for me, he's a target on site because he's squishy, man. He doesn't take many shots, get a couple of good shots on Kazuma, and he's out of there, back to spawn, and he'll have to rejoin the arena. So again, not a priority for one of the teams, and with those rockets and the angles, he's able to stay on a different level than his teammates and really hold down choke points quite effectively, while his teammates is able to stay with the payload and get it all the way to the finish line, and really pretty dominant victory there on Payload Race.
Well, the good news for everybody at home, unfortunately, you can't play in this event, but you can play along a little bit with the predictions I've mentioned. And also, we've got another giveaway code that we're about to pop up on screen for you. We're going to bring these up about every single time a matchup finishes. Well, guess what? It's good stuff, too. If you think there's good stuff 3, you're wrong. So don't type it in. It's not going to do anything for you. All you have to do to type in this code is go up in the top right-hand corner of your screen. There's a little 3- menu. Go to options, go to your account, and then on the right-hand side, there is redeem code. Get your free coins, get your free rewards. These will continue to increase, by the way, the rewards that you get for watching the broadcast. So stay tuned and stay with us. This has already been a ton of fun. It's fast-paced action, and so far, 2 up, 2 down for both of our first 2 matchups. I'm still excited to see that Crystal Assault in round 3.
That's right. GUD stuff. 2. That's right. Enter it in. Get yourself some rewards. Those will ramp up as the stream goes on. Some great incentives to stick around for sure. I'm still hoping to see one of my favorite heroes on the battlefield, and I'm going to give at least a shout out to whoever uses her first. Do you know who it is, Coach?
You said you liked Gloria, but we've already seen a Gloria, so man, I'm not actually sure. Who are you talking about?
I love me some Diggy. I like the new hero, came out last patch, and Diggy, half shark, whale, fish, half girl, and she's incredible. So really, really excited to see her on the battlefield. She's another that can qualify as kind of a distraction. Again, Hua Ling, though, on your screen is quite the dominant force, as we've seen so far. Here's Diggy. She's got herself a double-barrel shotgun, incredibly savvy in the close-range fights, but illusory touch. Man, talk about overpowered. I don't want to say it's not balanced, but man, she can move around the arena. She's great for objective play. And if we get to Crystal Assault, I highly expect to see her on the battlefield because not only does she move quickly, can form a great counterattack, but also is one of the most damaging characters overall for the enemy Crystal. So look for Diggy on the battlefield if we do get to Crystal Assault.
I will say too, Lance, because all of our heroes are maxed out for our creators in this event, Diggy's passive is such a valuable asset as well. She will heal whenever she goes into what I call fish mode. So keep an eye out for that if we do see a Diggy on the battlefield. But now, our brand new matchup. Didn't get a chance to talk about it too much. This is the Lettuce Avengers versus Hunter's Heroes. So we've seen both of these teams play before. We do see Hunter's Heroes back on your screen in a moment. But right now, Rodeo, Wasim, we've got everybody back. We've already seen the names. The question is who's going to come out on top this time around?
Yeah, indeed. It looks like we do have a matchup happening right now. I gotta say though, that was the names that I'm seeing, but it looks like we actually have Gloria's Gladiators on the battlefield right now because I'm seeing Bobby Plays and I'm seeing T3 God. So we're back. We're running it back, fresh off a win right now, and they are spawn trapping these guys, to say the least. We got Lex chilling in here and trying to get out. Red team struggling at the moment.
Yeah, again, this is team deathmatch to start, and so as you see our players addressing the other side, there's no objective besides, well, find eliminations. And so the question is, how do you do that correctly? We were talking about playing together as a unit, playing trades, playing corners correctly. Those are the big things to watch out for, is which teams are going to play together, and then which teams kind of go play hero mode. Sometimes it works, especially if you're a talented player, but I will say, Christina on your screen, one of the first times we've seen Christina, she has a couple different ults you can choose from, and that trap ultimate is super valuable in order to protect your flank if you're trying to hold down a sight line.
Fantastic when it comes to team play. Gloria, an amazing support hero, although I wouldn't necessarily categorize her as support. She has a grenade launcher, and those things can do significant damage from close range. It is enough to 1 or 2 shot somebody very, very quickly down to 0. You can see these guys congregating and spawn. Looks like Rodeo having a bit of a problem over there, but we'll get through it. The cool thing, though, about Christina is when she lobs those grenades, if they don't make contact with the player, they actually stick on the ground and can be used as a bit of an explosive. So you can see them, you can shoot them to get them to go away, but in addition, for her supporting ability, she has the ability to launch sticky bombs. You can stick with the walls to forge, you can set traps. You can see that they're doing just that, throwing them in and doing significant damage to the enemy, popping up 2,800 damage there for landing that critical connection.
And as a reminder, I'm rechecking all of our notes. Looks like this is Aletta's Avengers versus Gloria's Gladiators, if I'm remembering correctly, based on our other teams. And so, again, as you take a look at this, so all of these teams have competed before. Now they're playing a different matchup. We started with Aletta's Avengers versus Ruby Rangers, then Hunter's Heroes versus Gloria Gladiators, and now we're seeing the other side of the coin, which is Gloria's Gladiators versus Aletta's Avengers.
T3 God going to town right now, getting off lots of shots. Quick on the draw he is, takes down Jabali from behind. And we've got, despite seeing a very one-sided map so far with, essentially some spawn trapping going on, it's still only 9-3. It's definitely something that, can become from behind successfully. We're up to 10-3 now, still 2 minutes left. We're trying to cherry pick those kills on Rodeo as he is struggling just a bit. Maybe taking the dog for a walk or something.
Yep, I do believe so. But Bobby Plays, Kairos, T3 God doing what they do best, which is, well, find eliminations. I want to spend some moment here talking about Bobby Plays, with the titles that he's accustomed to. He's an FPS player, tried and true. Playing Mark as his hero of choice just makes all the sense in the world. One of the more traditional DPS characters you can pick. And so kind of playing not really a support role, but maybe a support DPS role for T3 God. T3 God can play the aggressor stance, and then Bobby Plays follows up with the damage. It says, hey, I'm here to play the trade should things go awry.
I gotta say out loud, I feel compelled to holler this loudly. Headphone warning. Wasteem coming out of spawn with a vengeance, pushing them back, and we've got ourselves the game, ladies and gentlemen. It's 11-7 right now. Wasteem said, forget this, I'm taking Ruby, and we are gonna push out. We're not gonna die without a fight, and he has gotten these guys back in the game.
Look, again, sometimes all you need is a bit of momentum on your side, and if you can carry that forward, you will find success. Now, looks like T3 God and company are going to answer in kind, still 13-7, and they are playing at a bit of a deficit based on the situation we have with Rodeo. So trying to play a little bit of protect the president, make sure that they're able to find eliminations as well. 2v3s are difficult to execute, but I will say the Ruby and the Jabali combo, you got a lot of shields to work through if you're T3 God and company.
I feel a little bit bad for Rodeo here, but at the same time, yeah, if you were going to be in a 2v3 situation, Jabali and Ruby, that's not a terrible combination. They have so much HP within shields right there, but they will not be able to come back and do the damage needed to get back into this one. I got to say, though, Waseem putting up a valiant effort, pushing out a spawn, just shredding through people left and right with Ruby. She's got those like daggers that come out in threes, and they do a significant amount of damage. She hides behind her shield. It's pretty cool. She can shoot through it, and so can her teammates, but the enemy cannot. So until it's destroyed, it's going to block all incoming damage. Really, really cool from Ruby, and I was really happy to see her get used there in that matchup.
Well, that is a map 1 victory for Gloria's Gladiators. They swept their last opponents 2-0. Are they going to do it again? And only time will tell. I want to take a look at Ruby's kind of set card so we can see all of the abilities that she has. That was the first time we've seen Ruby on our screen, if I remember correctly. And Ruby is, Lance, you were doing a great job of describing what she is. She is a tank to some degree, right? She's able to throw up those shields for your team, but she also has a bit of utility. And so as we look at this, the bolts of fate, the throwing of the cards, the lightning bolts do quite a bit of damage. You got 3 at a time, but then that active ability, the Mystic Shields, is the big one. This is how you protect your team, give them a bit of cover and utility to be able to shoot through those and also block the incoming damage.
One of the things too to point out is the HP and shield are actually combined to create 8,400 damage. Yep. So it's a lot of incoming abuse that she can absorb. And Ruby, very, very strong, but also does a fair bit of damage. She throws out those bolts of fate, her cards, at the enemies. The ultimate ability there are basically rockets that can kind of hone in on her targets that do a significant amount of damage and can clear the arena very, very quickly. So Ruby, a very, very strong character, one of the strongest in the game. If you play her correctly, almost impossible to kill. You have to have the right hero to do it.
Well, I'm excited to see if Aletta's Avengers can pull it back and tie up the series 1-1, force a Crystal Assault. Hopefully, Rodeo gets everything figured out so that he can compete, help out his team this time around. I will say they might want to start thinking about a two-person comp should things go completely awry, and we'll talk a little bit about some of those comps and what we've seen be so successful thus far. But I want to remind everybody that you can play T3 Arena right now on TapTap, okay? So all you have to do is go to the TapTap. There's a link down in the description. There's a link at the top. It's a pinned post in all of our live streams. Go download T3 on TapTap and check out all of the other exciting titles that they have. And I believe we've got a few replays we want to show you from this last matchup. T3 God doing what he does best. Hua Ling coming in strong, finding some early eliminations. Now, I will give credit where credit's due. Lex was doing everything he could to block the incoming fire and try to swing it back their direction. Was able to at least pick up one pick.
Love to see it. Even close range, though, Hua Ling getting those shots down range. T3 God doing a great job to support his team. And again, put him on his back and gets him to the finish line there. They're up 1-0 in their second match here. And with one more game victory here, that will be probably an automatic trip to a top seed is my guess based on what we've seen so far. Again, I'm Power Bang. This is Grandmaster Goj, and we're here with T3 Arena in the TapTap All-Stars. I'm so excited with the game. Let's check out the leaderboard. We've got Gloria's Gladiators right now sitting on 1 win, and Ruby's Rangers with 1 win as well. Letta's Avengers, Hunter's Heroes each with a loss. That's what we're gonna roll with. Love to see it, Goj.
Yeah, no, couldn't agree more. I think Aletta's Avengers are trying to get a bit of payback here, trying to tie up their record 1-1, but they're going to have to do it by winning the next 2 maps. Now, Lance, I want to talk about some of the strategy that goes into Payload Race because we're heading back into that map currently. What comps do you like to use? What heroes do you like to pick for Payload Race?
For Payload Race, I love a little bit of range and also some shields, right? You need somebody that can do damage to the opponents at range. I love personally a Hua Ling for that, an Osus for that, but you also need some Jabalis or Rubies that can stand next to the payload and just take an enormous amount of abuse. And you can see both of those heroes actually being chosen here. It looks like Lex and Wasim are really taking that to heart as they've got shields galore next to the payload, and they are out in front right now. If they just keep their payload moving, they will finish on top here.
I will say Victor is a fun hero to play as well. Can play a bit more aggro with the characters, a bit of an off take. It has those charges that are so deadly if you can hit the stun, and looks like Lex and Wasim in a bit of trouble yet again, just trying to hold off their opponents. Bobby plays, pushing the equation with Hunter this time around, and I know you had brought up how Hunter can be fairly valuable, especially at range if you can hit that burst rifle shot, and they're just going to melt through these shields the best they can.
Hunter's got a really interesting weapon. He's got like a 3-round burst AR, and it's a little different than some of the other characters. It's got a little bit of delay to it, so you almost gotta like sweep and land those shots on your target as they move around. But if you can land all 3, he is devastating. He hits super hard, but one of the best things about Hunter is he has a grenade that'll allow you to see your opponents through walls. So it's one of the best heroes out there for providing intel.
I couldn't agree more. Information is key. Information is everything when it comes to winning these team-focused fights. And yet again, we're seeing another dominating performance. Well, I say that as Wasim swings around the corner and finds a couple ult picks, and it's going to push this payload back. Very well done by Wasim to keep them in this game. Again, with Payload Race, you have to force back your opponents. You have to push back that payload if you have any semblance of a chance at success. Wasim is doing everything he can by throwing up shields and trying to keep things going in their favor. You see Jabali pushing their payload forward. They're just stalling at this point, Lance.
They really are, and you can see the blue team just cruising down the hill, 82% and counting right now. Kairo's time and T3 God hanging out next to the payload, and you can see Kairo's time with Christina going down. T3 God Victor has a lot of HP. He's going to try to get in close on Wasim here with Ruby. Ruby able to escape. Now Lex able to get some damage going on. They've left their payload at 87%. This is a prime opportunity right now to perhaps reverse course. It looks like Lex and Wasim pushing Bobby and the rest of the blue team off of the payloads. This is a big swing of events right now. Gonna look to see one final push here from T3 God and friends if they can overcome.
Ooh, the Victor ult to swing him up into the sky. He's gonna have to be careful there, but I am extremely impressed with their ability to keep this match any sort of close. Now, I do think the T3 God, Kairos, and Bobby will not only win this map, but win this matchup. 2 up, 2 down yet again for the Glorious Gladiators, most likely securing top seed going into bracket play later. But we've got to give credit where credit's due. Aleta's Avengers did everything they could given the circumstances.
That was really, really tough. I feel like Rodeo's picture is clippable. It's almost meme worthy. The name tag there. But anyways, I really liked the saving of that ultimate ability by T3 God. He used the Victor ultimate ability at the very end. And Victor, if you don't know what his ultimate does, it's basically a full-on sprint. And the guy looks like a football linebacker. He can hit you with that shoulder pad, pop you way up in the air, and it's going to do devastating damage. He's able to connect with all 3 heroes on the opposing team, move them right out of the way, and that payload is moving once again. Completely swung the tide of that match, and all credit, I think, goes to Victor.
No, couldn't agree more. I think the Victor, the team comps, T3 God putting down damage. I mean, everything was in their favor in that matchup. The double tank comp certainly can work, especially on a game mode like Payload Race, but it wasn't quite able to do it this time around. Maybe try it again in the next matchup, and you'll have a bit better favor. But that is Gloria Gladiators, like I said, going up to 2-0 in their overall matches. Now, they will have one more matchup later in this series. They'll have a bit of a bye to watch some of the different action, but it was Bobby Plays, it was Kairos, and of course T3 God, one of our community members that are coming in swinging, and most likely will be at the top of that bracket.
Man, just looks fearsome. T3 God got the aviators, the classic beard. He looks like an operator. Like, this guy's been, deployed. He's fearsome. You're scared of this dude. I will say it was impressive play. And I mean, I feel bad for not slipping this in there, but I wanted to end last game with, to the victor goes the spoils. But
sure.
It's true. Victor pick it up in the clutch time there, and they get that victory. No problem. Glorious Gladiators looking like the team to beat so far.
Well, I do believe we're going to see Aleta's Avengers next up again. This is going to be Wasim, Lex, and Rodeo trying to execute something this time around. And again, there's a number of tiebreakers we'll talk about in a little bit to determine who actually is going to be seeded 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. We've seen Glorious Gladiators get 2 wins in their matchups. We've seen Aleta's Avengers lose 2 of their matchups, but if they can win the 3rd and go 1-2, there's a chance they could get some tiebreakers. So let's look currently where everyone is situated. We've got Glorious Gladiators at the top currently. We've got Ruby's Rangers with 1 matchup victory. We've got Hunter's Heroes with 1 matchup loss. And then Aleta's Avengers at 2 matchups lost. And this next match is going to be Aleta's Avengers versus Hunter's Heroes. So this is a key linchpin in determining which of the teams will be seeded potentially 2nd, 3rd, or 4th.
Amazing. We're looking really, really strong so far. I would love to get a little bit of a hero spotlight on Victor. I do want to bring these heroes up. There's 20 of them. I want to dive into each of them as we go throughout the show to kind of give you guys at home a little bit more of an idea of who to play with when you download T3 Arena through the TapTap store, which is in the description of the stream. Victor, the tank. Look at this guy, 7,700 HP with 4,900 shield. That gives this guy a lot of health to work with. He's got the shotgun, close range damage on lockdown, but really where this guy makes his money is in that active ability. It's the tackle charge. You charge forward, it's a gap closer, but also if you connect with any of your opponents, it stuns them, and that is oftentimes enough to ruin them as your teammates can easily pick them apart.
Right, exactly. Well, as a reminder, all of our replays are brought to you by TapTap. Check out TapTap now to find out all the exclusive, exciting titles. You can click the link in the description and, of course, go to the pinned comment. Now, we swing it back. We've been talking about Victor for a while now, and you can see why they're so powerful. That shotgun, that charge ability, if you can connect on it. But this ult by Ruby, by Wasim, was so impressive to at least make this a semblance of a fight. It was almost a complete blowout, but they brought it back within somewhere around the neighborhood of 9% at least at one point.
It was really close. I was like, man, are they going to do this? Is this going to become a game here? Really kind of short-staffed going 2v3, and they almost did. They made it a serious game towards the end. Again, T3 got on Victor, really dropping that ultimate ability, that charge, dropping the shoulder, and saying, no, not today. But we do have our next battle coming up, it appears.
They're going to swap back in, and we can see this is Chris. You can see the Thesaurus, PG, and Orange Juice back on your screen. Currently, this is Hunter's Heroes. Now, as a reminder, Wasim, Lex, Rodeo, looking for a victory. This would be their first, but Hunter's Heroes have not found a victory either. This is only their second matchup, so a massive opportunity. And this is Chris playing Osis, gets the pick early. This could be the opening that they need in order to push this payload further and gain the lead. But an Osis on either side means we're going to see a sniper battle down lane, Lance.
I love me some sniping. Everybody who follows me knows that. But Osis here picking up the pick. One thing about Osis is he can drop that shroud on the battlefield. You see that purple? Well, Osis on one side can see through it. The other side cannot. It's a solid purple wall. And you can see the ultimate ability coming out. And it is basically laser eyes there, shooting that beam across the entire map. It will drop somebody from 100 to 0 very, very quick.
I gotta say, Osis is one of my favorite heroes to play. The high-risk, high-reward playstyle fits me perfectly. Sometimes I will not connect. I will not be on my game. I won't be on my nondescript energy supplements to keep me locked in. Instead, I'll be missing all my shots, and I'll be a complete waste of space. But Wasim is hitting right now. That's a back-to-back on Orange Juice and PG, keeping his opponents off all of the sudden. There is a huge opportunity here for Wasim and Lex to pick up their first victory.
Absolutely. Wasim really has put in the work here to get good at T3 Arena and ahead of this matchup. He sees the sword kind of peeking out a little bit, getting flanked though. Looks like Orange Juice doing some work there with injury, but the push is on. The ult is fired. Can he take down the Thesaurus? Unable to connect, and he is in trouble at this point.
Massive opportunity. We'll talk about what this means for the overall matchups. And as a reminder, if you're just now tuning in, or maybe you tuned back in, this is actually just map 1. We swapped up the map order a little bit. This is payload race to start, and then we're gonna head to team deathmatch. And of course, if we need to go to that round 3 in the best of 3, we'll then head to Crystal Assault. Looks like the Thesaurus PG tried to get involved, but Wasim yet again from the back in is connecting shot after shot, elimination after elimination. Wasim just 1v3 the entire opponent team.
Impressive shots from Wasim here. They're not going to do a dang thing to stop him. Wasim goes down. Maybe they will stop him right at the finish line. There's a great aerial view. Lex, just walk close to the payload, my friend. Get at that final 2%. He is going to do that. He hides. He's successful. And the celebration is on. Lex and Wasim getting it across the finish line and picking up the dub.
One map victory their direction. Speaking of victories, I know they've got to be excited of that. That was their first map win. They haven't won a matchup yet. They haven't even won a map yet. It's an opportunity to take it to Hunter's Heroes, who are 0-1 currently, while Aletta's Avengers are 0-2. This would be Aletta's Avengers' last matchup that they'll be playing in the round robin. But before we do anything else, I gotta say, I know chat's probably screaming at we missed the last giveaway, so we're gonna bring up the giveaway code right now. We've been talking, there's a lot to get through, but guess what? We've got more giveaways all the way through this event. This time, it is a bit longer. TapTap presents 1. That is a 1 at the end. There's nothing else at the end of that. It is TapTap presents 1. There's a giveaway code for you. All you got to do, top right hand corner of your screen, those 3-bar menu, hit that, hit account, then hit options, then account, then redeem code, and there you go. Type that code in, you'll receive a reward. Now, the rewards are creeping up in scale, so stay tuned. You're like, okay, we got a little reward here, a little reward there. Wait till the end, it starts getting crazy.
Ooh, I'm excited. Can't wait to see what those are. I'm sitting here looking at it as we are live. I'm like, man, I want to redeem this so bad. I want to see what it is. Hopefully you guys check it out. You can download T3 Arena through the TapTap store. You can find those links in the description. Really excited, though, to see all of you guys out in the arena. And we are getting ready for the next little section of our show here. And before we do that, again, as mentioned, head on over to the TapTap store and download all the latest games. You can do that and find T3 Arena there for download for free.
All of our replays are brought to you by TapTap. Really excited to partner with them for this event. They've been super graceful and amazing to work with, and the reason we're able to put on this show. I gotta say though, speaking of a show, Wasim put on a show. Look at these replays, elimination after elimination, holding off the opponents. The Osos pick seemingly proved fruitful. When you're on, you're on, and if you're on, you better take advantage of that opportunity to find a number of team wipes.
You really are saying it really well. Honestly, Osas is the hero that you want to pick if you are on popping those heads from across the map. He is the single highest output of damage in the game. Really excited to see him get some use and for somebody to like come out and like really execute with them in a number of ways. So really exciting match. We are going to be flopping the order, and next up is going to be the Penthouse in Team Deathmatch, and we are live with that right now. This is game number 2 of the matchup, and again, blue team here playing for their life as Lex and Wasim trying to end it.
This is an opportunity for This Is Chris, Thesaurus, Orange Juice to swing it back in their favor, take the map count 1-1, force us to finally see that Crystal Assault. Don't worry if it's a 2-0 all the way through the round robin series. We'll see more Crystal Assault later. I know Lance would certainly be sad if we did it. That's one of his favorite game modes. But as we take a look at the team comps, Orange Juice on Jabali. This is the second or third time we've seen Jabali, but maybe the only second time that we've actually seen Jabali on Team Deathmatch. You need to be a bit more strategic with the way you play that tank in Team Deathmatch. You have to fight as a team because the 1v multiple type abilities of a tank like Jabali probably not there. With the healer on you, though, I mean, you're gonna be able to take quite a bit of damage.
I mean, this composition that you're seeing out of this squad is really solid for more of the objective play. Things like Crystal Assault, things like especially Control, which we have yet to see. We might see a little bit later on today, but the healer tank combo doesn't put out the damage that one would need to see here. So I gotta give the edge to Lex, Wasim, and the Rodeo here as they are able to jump out to a 2-1 lead early on in this one. But I expect the timer to run out potentially in this game because it's gonna be hard fought to get these kills.
No, this is kind of a stall comp, if you can call it that. It is, hey, we've got a tank. We've also got a healer that's going to try to sit on the tank. And then This Is Chris is going to peek behind that cover and grab picks and then back off and just stall out the time. So they're going to try to keep this as close as possible. The problem is on the other side, Wasim, you know how deadly he is. This Is Chris is going to try to connect on Wasim. This is an Osus versus Osus battle. I was going to say, I couldn't imagine Wasim would change heroes between those last two maps because he nearly single-handedly carried his team to victory in the last one because of the picks he was able to find. But with this team comp, Wasim might have a bit more trouble. As long as he wins his 1v1s against This Is Chris, I do see Wasim, Lex, and Rodeo taking this one home.
5-3, the current margin. They've got themselves a lead, and they are sticking together right now. Osas has got to get behind the shield. Otherwise, why have the Jabali? But able to pick up the kill here. And the Source does go down in a trade, 6-4 now, the margin. And Team Hunter here trying to get away from OJ. It's a fight he should be able to win with that pushback.
Nice pushback. Has got his teammates right next to it. This is just a stall game here for OJ, trying to stay alive. And PG's trying to come play support. Does get there in time, gets the heals. That's maybe a mistake on the side of Lex and Wasim. You can't let the tank get a healer next to them. And if they do, you somehow have to get behind this tank and take out the healer. Otherwise, you're going to be laying bullets down range. And then all of a sudden, This Is Chris may come up from behind and grab a few picks. But unfortunately, the team comp not working yet. And well, with only a minute and 50 seconds left, we're going to have to get a move on. Hunter in hand, tracking down quite a bit of damage. Wasim picks off This Is Chris, and well, all of a sudden it's a 10-5 game.
You know, the Shadowfall ability, which is Osas's active ability, it's like a little grenade that he throws down. It creates a giant purple wall. It's really useful, but one of the things that we haven't mentioned so far is that it actually does damage over time to anyone standing within it from the opponent's team. You can stand in it, but they can't necessarily charge you without taking a decent amount of damage, so it's a really useful ability for Osas here. As you see him bust out his ultimate, taking down some of the other team as well. That is the Dark Surge, and that right there is on screen again. You do not want to get seen by those laser eyes, that's for sure.
Look, we haven't shouted him out that many times on screen. I think he will lose his life in the process, but I got to give credit where credit's due. Lex is actually playing a fantastic Hunter right now, making sure those Osus snipes are just Twitter clips waiting to happen. Go put those on the timeline. Go put them in your VODs. Such an impressive shot, but the Hunter play from Lex has been pretty impressive because of his ability to not only put down a ton of damage, but use his active ability correctly with the radar scan, get the information, but it also provides a speed boost, and the knockback ult allows you to kind of create some distance between you and your opponents because Hunter wants to be fighting at long range, unless of course you're 1v1ing a healer.
Absolutely. This is going to be a timer game for sure. We've got 20 seconds here left on the clock. Can the blue team catch up? That is what remains to be seen, closing the gap to 10 to 15 here. 12 seconds left, and it looks like it's a hide and wait out the clock approach here. 16 to 11 now, and we are near the end. They visited spot, and that will do it. Lex, Wasim, and the Rodeo picking up the victory.
And you can see how excited they are down in the cams. A very impressive win. They're first, and they've played all 3 of their matchups. So we're going to take a second in just a moment and pull up the leaderboard, and we'll see exactly where they're going to line up, because Hunter's Heroes are 0-2 now. Aletta's Avengers are now 1-2. But if they do tie, let's say Hunter's Heroes wins their next matchup, let's go ahead and talk about those tiebreakers, Lance. The first one is head-to-head. So if both of those teams are 1-2, it will be Aletta's Avengers that will actually be a higher seed. So that may determine whether or not they're playing somebody that's maybe on the stronger side or maybe one of the teams on the weaker side. Only time will tell. And of course, if we have a 3-way tie and everybody is beating each other in head-to-head, it then goes to map count. So if any of these teams can force a map 3 but still lose, they could have an opportunity to be a bit higher rank, because at least they want a map in the process. But Lance, I know we're gonna have some replays. You know what the community wants, you know what the crowd wants. We've got more giveaways between every matchup. We've got another one, so whip out T3 Arena. If you're not already playing while watching, I don't know what you're doing, head over to your account and type in TapTap Presents 2. Yes, 2. TapTap Presents 2. You can see it on your screen right now. Tap that in. Menu. 2 options, 2 account to redeem code. That's how you do it. Very well done by everybody at home. Congratulations on your rewards. We got a lot more coming your way.
Absolutely love to see it. Go get your rewards. And again, those will be ramping up over the course of the stream. So make sure you guys keep it locked. Stay tuned. And a big shout out to Aletta's Avengers as they do get the victory there in our round robin round. It has just finished up. And I do want to give a little bit of a hero shout out here to Osas. If we can bring him up here in a bit. We saw one on each side of the arena that time. And man, they were busting awesome shots. Wasim seeming to really be partial to this guy. Doesn't have a ton of HP, but he's able to sit way in the back with that Night Trust, and man, he can rip off some shots. If you connect with the headshot here, does a significant multiplier and can one-shot most of the heroes in the game. Shadowfall, as we talked about, creates that smoke field, blocking vision and dealing damage over time. We also have the ultimate ability, which is the Dark Surge, and that is pretty incredible. You can get your Dark Surge on in T3 Arena by going to TapTap and downloading the game for free, and they'll bring you this replay here as we see Osas doing his thing along with Hunter.
This is the moments where, unfortunately, Lex wasn't able to show his prowess in a 1v3, but that shot from, this is Chris in Wasim using Osas, so deadly, so powerful, but you have to hit your shots. If you want the key to success, by the way, against an Osas, push the equation, get right up in their grill, because that sniper is very difficult to use in close range, but smoke maybe will help them out. Regardless, Lance, we've seen a number of matchups. I'd love to pull up our scoreboard on screen if possible and kind of talk through the records, what's still possible for some of these teams. I know we're about to get into the match, and so if the game's ready, we'll hop over there, but if we could look at the scoreboard, we'll be able to talk through where all of the teams have lined up through round robin. And as a reminder for everybody at home, while we're waiting on this, the round robin portion is just for seeding. So if a team goes 0-3, they've still got an opportunity to win $6,000 if they win their bracket. Production, you guys are amazing. Check out this leaderboard right now. Glorious Gladiators still at the top 2-0. We've got Ruby's Rangers still waiting on their next 2 matchups. They're 1-0. And then Aletta's Avengers have jumped Hunter's Heroes because they have now won 1 matchup. It is 1-2 for their record. If Hunter's Heroes can win their next matchup, it might not mean too much for them unless one of these other 2 teams, and I guess it would have to be Ruby's Rangers, loses the next 2 matchups. So, Lance, there's a lot of what-ifs. There's a lot more coming, and I know we've got a really exciting matchup next. I do believe, I'm getting word, it is Ruby's Rangers versus Gloria's Gladiators. So we're going to get a chance to see if Gloria's Gladiators can be, get that all-too-elusive, undefeated, haven't dropped a map. I mean, I'd love to see Crystal Assault, but that's a nice little medal under your belt there if you can not drop a map in round robin play.
Man, I would love to see Crystal Assault, my favorite game mode in T3 Arena. We'll get to it at some point for sure, especially as we head into the bracket rounds later on. But you're absolutely right. Ruby's Rangers comprised of Corey, Winsanity, and Sir Tag. Whew. It's a solid looking and, might I say, handsome lineup over there with Sanity doing work with Hua Ling earlier on in the contest. Excited to see if they can come back and really gear up for Bear. And they're going to have it here as I believe they are taking on Glorious Gladiators, which have been incredibly impressive so far. T3 God leading the way for them. I'm curious to see who he is going to choose. He's shown with Hua Ling. He's shown with Kazama. And I don't know who he's going with here, but we're about to find out.
Well, team deathmatch back on the menu, and all of our players excited, ready to get underway. And I'm sure at home, if you're watching right now, you've been able to see some of these creators' live streams. They're all live as well, and they've been watch partying the mainstream. So the question becomes for you, Lance, do you think Winsanity and his team have been doing a little VOD review on T3 God? Because they've had 2 different matchups they've been able to watch of T3 God compete. And if you can take down T3 God, then maybe play the train on Bobby Plays. It's all up to Kairos to try to save the day. I think some VOD review could be pretty useful going into this matchup.
Oh my goodness. I agree completely, but I'm just giggling right now at the actual composition of T3 God and Glorious Gladiators. They've got 3 extremely strong long-range heroes, not super great in the close range, but serviceable. They've got Judex, who we're seeing for the first time. T3 God rocking Judex, and Judex, in my opinion, is one of the all-around strongest characters in the game because she's so versatile. No real hard counters, and she can basically play well on any map with any team. So really liking to see Judex on the battlefield for the first time.
Well, it seems like it's working thus far. 4 up, 4 down quickly. A 4-0 start. Now, anything could happen, especially with a quick team wipe the other direction. It should be okay. Kairos time trying his hand at Hua Ling this time around and going to say, hey, is it the hero or is it the player? Regardless, a Ruby from Sir Tag is going to come around the corner and find an elimination. Their first, might I add, on the side of Winsanity squad. Hey, look, if you get some points and you're having fun, that's all that matters. But we are playing for $10,000. So lock it in, boys. You've got an opportunity to win some money. And so far, it is in your opponent's favor.
Kairos time looking like a natural here on Hua Ling, doing some damage for sure, but he's in trouble now. Gonna bust out the ultimate. Can he rain down terror? Unable to connect here. Stir Tag, Winsanity pushing him back. But look at that, the cover from Osis with Shadowfall, able to allow them to retreat. Bobby Plays playing a great support role there, but ultimately it costs him his life.
I've got to say, I know you brought up their team comp. I want to bring it up one more time. Talk about high risk, high reward. You've got Osis and you have Hua Ling. These, I call them glass cannons. I mean, they can take a bit of a punch, but for the most part, they are long range heroes doing a lot of damage. And if you push the equation, you might be able to swing it back in your favor. I'm sure Winsanity, Corey, Sir Tag are thinking the same, but you almost question the team comp choice from Win's side. If you know Hua Ling's going to be on this other side, you've seen a couple of these Osis. If all you needed was maybe like one healer or maybe a Jabali to give you cover to force your way into the close range encounter, and I think you win this gunfight 9 times out of 10.
I think Corey here picks up a kill on T3 God, 6-12 right now in favor of T3 God and the Glorious Gladiators, but they just have to get aggressive. I mean, these are all long-range characters. Corey and Kairos trade somehow, but that's what you get with some of these slower burn type of heroes with Hua Ling shooting at range. You can actually release an arrow and still be killed, but here's that. Corey taking out Bobby Place here. It's 14-8. Judex with the ultimate and picks up the kill. She's not done, though.
No, that burn hurts, too. So you see Sir Tag kind of hanging out and you go, whoa, 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 wait a minute. Let me back up. That was maybe a bit more damage than I expected. A nice flank swinging around the corner. Looks like Kairos was playing a bit of a distraction. I'm not sure Sir Tag even knows what's going on because all of a sudden Judex from behind and then the team collapses, doing everything that he can to stay up and is able to fight too. Can he get the third? Oh!
That was incredible play by T3 God right there. And man, they are having a block barbecue. What is on the menu? Oh, it's Sir Tag. That's right, standing in the flames will do him media well, but it is close to the end now. Glorious Gladiators pushing 17 kills. They need 3 more. They've got a minute to do it, and I'm betting they can pick it up.
Certainly probable. We're gonna see have to see a miracle here from Winsanity, Tag, and Corey whenever he gets back into the map. Corey doing a bit of long range damage, but watch out. Judex hits like a truck if you're not careful, especially if you can close distance, get that stun grenade out. Corey's gonna think better of that fight. They know they have to play together. They need to play in each other's pockets and hold hands in these fights to grab a couple eliminations. Well, they lose one in the process. Bobby, great shot. Can he find the final elimination to secure the victory? And as T3 God comes around the corner and they pinch, they're not messing around. I think Bobby just flexed for the camera as well. All three of the players on the side of T3 God's team putting in the work. Very well done. Glorious Gladiators looking like the strongest team. We're going to see if Winsanity Squad can answer in kind in Payload Race.
Well, this is going to secure the top spot for Glorious Gladiators going into bracket play if they can take the next map on Payload Race. That remains to be seen. However, I want to go back to the team comp here. High risk, high reward ultimately proves to be very rewarding for them as they take three very strong high range heroes. We're talking Hualing and Osis, which we've seen quite a bit throughout the tournament. Judex, though, one of the first times we've seen here. Would love to bring up Judex and check her out because she absolutely hits like a truck, like you're saying. She actually could be the counter to a Hualing or an Osis on the other side because she's got a little moving, some shucking and jiving that she can do to dodge those shots, but can still put out some furious firepower in return. And she also has an active ability, the FF105 Stunner, which is basically a flashbang. It's a throwable grenade that blinds opponents. And as you guys saw, the Dragon Breath Bomb will cook teams alive. And Sir Tag found to be on the business end of that ultimate. And then passive ability with Tenacity, when Judex actually reloads her rifle, every single reload heals her to an extent, which is really, really useful when you're just trying to stay in the fight. You fire a little bit, you reload a little bit, and you're tip-top shape for the next encounter.
No, exactly. I think it's only about a 5% boost, but oftentimes in these fights, you get down to about 2 or 3% of your health. So anything goes a long way, especially when you're putting out so many bullets downrange with that repeater like T3 God was able to do. Well, the aggressive comp certainly paid off in TDM. The question is, will it pay off in Payload Race? That's where we're headed next. You've seen it once, you've seen it twice, but we're going to check out some of the replays brought to you by TapTap. Go check out T3 on TapTap right now. All you got to do, click the link in the description and the pinned message. Looking at these replays, we're going to see a number of different impressive plays from, well, most of the players on your screen, but it really was the story of what could Kairos Time, Bobby Plays, and T3 God do with this aggressive comp.
I'm very curious to see what they come out with next game. The matchups were hilarious. I'm hoping to see something maybe equally as trolly, maybe a Victor, Jabali, and a Ruby. I don't know. We'll come out and maybe do triple tank, or maybe we go with the brand new hero Chemist. We've got a new hero in the game as of yesterday, and she's got a healing ability along with some damage dealing. So we'll see if anyone elects to use Chemist. With being so new in the game, she hasn't found herself into any sort of meta or team comp that is obvious just yet. But as we check out the matchups right now, we've got some doozies coming in. This is going to be a good matchup as we head into game number 2 of our matchup. And again, if Glorious Gladiators take this one, they are going to clinch that top seed.
Match point. They would love to not drop a single map this entire round robin section of the event. And as we start looking at some of these comps, and well, in a very aggressive start, we see some similarities from the last time this team played Payload Race, with one difference. We can see Kazimov for T3 God, we can see Mark for Bobby Plays, but it's a Christina that Kairos Time is playing this time around, trying to throw that AoE damage and kind of zoning ability that she has with her ultimate and her mines that she puts out.
Sama up in the air now. That's pretty difficult. He's able to pick up 2. He picks up a 3rd, and that is a team wipe, and the advantage now going to Glorious Gladiators. You can see the disparity now on the percentage leaderboard. We've got both payloads going in opposite directions right now, which is great for Glorious Gladiators, but not so much for Ruby's Rangers.
I will say, too, when we start staring at kind of like what the competition looks like, what the strategy looks like, I think the T3 God advantage is what I'm going to call it at this point. It's the IGLing from T3 God that is really in their favor. Sure, they've got the gunny, sure, they've got great shots and good team chemistry, but it's the strategy. You can see what they were doing in Payload Race. They had 2 players pushing forward. They had 2 players pushing forward to find the elimination and then start pushing back their opponent's payload, while the third player on their team is pushing their payload forward. It's a kind of a double-edged sword where you're able to swing it both ways and not only hurt your opponents, but also help yourself. And right now, they're nearly double. Now, make it double percentage of their opponents. This could be a clean sweep in round robin for T3 God. Kairos time. Bobby plays. Gloria's Gladiators are looking unbeatable at this point.
Mark just popped his super ability. You can tell when he uses it when the targets appear on his opponents, and what it does is basically amplify the damage that is incoming from Mark, so he can basically just go into superhero mode, and he does just that as we have a huge gap widening now, 90% to 30, and it looks like that is going to be curtains for Ruby's Rangers as Gloria's Gladiators getting their payload across the finish line first.
You can see the frustration on Wynn's face. You can see he goes, wait, I don't know what to do. You can tell, okay, our first matchup, we seemingly were doing pretty well. We felt pretty comfortable. But all of a sudden, the strategy from T3 God with Gloria's Gladiators, the ability, and also probably the unlikelihood that they've played against the Kazuma, right? The Kazuma up in the air, it's not that difficult once you figure it out and you can team shoot him. But when he's flying up in the air, if you're not used to aiming up into the skies when you're playing a shooter, well, this T3 Arena will certainly teach you to do that with a number of these heroes.
He can very quickly take the battlefield multiple dimensions, right? He's hovering in the sky, and it's no longer, let's just shoot some rounds into the crowd. Now you have to really look at somebody that's raining down not just damage, but AoE damage and absolutely decimating your position. Kazuma, fairly easy to take out once he's up there. Would recommend a team comp with maybe a Scotty or a Judex that can do high single point damage to the enemy, and that should take care of that Kazuma problem very, very quickly. But let's take a look at our leaderboard, and as we've mentioned, there is the clinch, and now it comes down to who is going to be in the other seeds, and we have the ability for a three-way tie right now if Hunter's Heroes can take down Ruby's Rangers. So then next matchup, we would have to go to the tiebreaker, which is going to be super, super interesting.
Yeah, I'll be curious to see what happens. This is a big one, right? You've got Hunter's Heroes versus Ruby's Rangers, and because this is a monumental matchup, we also have a prediction for you. You want more rewards? Don't worry, I've got a code for you I'm about to share, but before that, all you got to do, !prediction in all of our live chats. Our moderators are going to give you the link to head over to TapTap's app. You can go to their posts under T3 Arena game, and you can see they've got a prediction live to who you think is going to win this matchup and who you think is going to clinch that second seed. This is a crucial matchup specifically for Hunter's Heroes, okay? So if you want them to win, maybe vote for them. All you got to do is comment their name, or if you want their opponents to win, comment that name, and you'll have a chance to win some rewards. Speaking of rewards, Lance, guess what? We've got another code for everyone at home. Go to the menu, go down to your options, and then your account, hit the redeem code button and type in TapTap1. Very simple, TapTap1. And again, all of our rewards are increasing. I think we might have just hit a new tier of what you can take home. This is, I believe, one of our last matchups, Lance. I think this will determine our seeding. And so we're almost done with the round robin already. We're moving quickly, but make sure you get your rewards.
Absolutely. Make a good time here. We get the round robin just about to wrap up. That will determine the seeding. Again, the only seed that is established at this point is number one. That's going to be Gloria's Gladiators. T3 God leading the way there. They've gone undefeated through the round robin, 3-0 as far as their record goes. But now we have the opportunity to look at Ruby's Rangers taking on Hunter's Heroes. And again, everything on the line here with regards to seeding, because whoever ends up in last seed has to take on Gloria's Gladiators. So
exactly.
That's just food for thought.
I've got to say, too, in terms of maybe keeping this as simple as possible, we've got not only a tie in record potentially on the line between three teams, but could be close to a tie in map count depending on the way this is swung. So we're going to need to see some variability. We'd love to see some Crystal Assault for the round 3 if maybe these two teams can take a map off of each other. I guess, Lance, it's time. I mean, this is the last one. The chat's getting predictions done. We've got to pick ourselves. We've seen them. Are you going to stick to the alphabet, or are you going to maybe stick to some of the skill you've seen?
Hunter's Heroes, it's obvious, man. H comes before R. I mean, come on. We got to go with Hunter's Heroes, baby. We're picking them.
Okay, I'm going to go with Ruby's Rangers. What are you going to go with at home? Go put in your predictions now in the TapTap app under the T3 Arena game. And you can also just type in !prediction in all of our live chats that we have moderated. I believe it's the TapTap official YouTube. You can get that link if you don't have it anywhere else. All right, now Lance, we're about to head into it. Any big legends, any big heroes you would love to see as we load into our first map of the final matchup?
Well, I absolutely would say yes, but I could tell from the preview we're not going to see them. We've got a few more that we're going to run it back on. That is totally fine. What I was hoping to see, though, was a Shell. Really think she's a really strong character and haven't seen her picked just yet. Is a little bit more advanced, though, so I don't blame some of these guys who are newer to the game not picking her up. We also haven't seen Labula into the game either, or Chemist. So all of those characters looking to see out on the battlefield, but hey, who cares? We've got ourselves another OSense of Victor, and it's time to get into our final round here, round 6 in game number 1.
I'm specifically looking at Winsanity playing Mark right now. Certainly a shooter in most of his live streams, a very talented mobile player, and has showcased his skill in a number of different ways. We'll actually get that trade on Victor, a very impressive elimination, especially when you're staring in the eyes of an entire team. 3-1. Not a bad way to start, of course, for OJ, Thesaurus, and this is Chris. This is a crucial linchpin map for both of these teams. You don't want to have to be fighting from behind and potentially losing in the second map. You would love to have that lead going into it. The question is who's going to be able to, of course, execute it. You can see that Victor playing that hyper aggro role, and it's seemingly working. This is Chris's forcing the equation, but no, the caster curse is real. Ruby gets the better of him at the end, and this will be a full team wipe the other direction to bring it back 4-3. Lance, we might finally have a nail biter of a matchup.
I feel bad for old Thesaurus there in the middle of those three in a triangle. That was pretty much trouble for him. One tip I have for those of you guys trying to play Ruby at home, deploy that shield early. Right now, get it in front of you so the team can advance behind it. Get off those early shots, because the second those panes of glass are broken, you can redeploy and you'll have another shield to activate the cooldown early on. Right now, it's being deployed super late, so it's shot through almost instantly and it's not able to be redeployed. So Ruby not getting the full advantage here. That's something that you learn a little bit longer as you get a bit more experience with the game, but Ruby, incredibly strong hero. And Orange Juice here getting some shots with Hualing.
They've got the healer. Yeah, I was going to say, if Orange Juice can stay on Hualing and kind of start locking in and connecting on some of these shots, and of course, if we can keep the heals up, that would be ideal, so that they can play a little bit more of an aggressive stance. It is 6-4, a very close race. Winsanity maybe a bit more comfortable on Mark this time around than some of the other heroes he's chosen. He's going to go for the flank. This is a big opportunity. Now, you're leaving your team a little bit out to dry if you don't push it. And you can see he's going to actually swing back. They probably have some great comms right now. I'd love to see actually production. If there's a chance we could do a listen in for a moment, maybe with Winsanity, Surtag, and Corey to see what they're talking about. Only 1 point behind.
Definitely loving the play so far, and having that Ruby is where you want to be if you're trying to get out of spawn. She's got a beautiful shield to hide behind. So definitely not the greatest spot to try to spawn push somebody is when they've got a Ruby on their side.
Oh, I couldn't agree more.
There we've got our listen in.
Yeah, I'd love to hear some of these comms come through.
It's the thought that counts.
There it is. I think they're turning them up. I heard some comms in the back end.
I just ignored the tank and I just sniped OJ in the back.
I love it. All right, we can bring it back to the casters. I actually really like that we heard that 1 point at the end there. If chat, you guys didn't get a chance to hear that, he said, I ignored the tank and I sniped OJ in the back. That's exactly what you want to do. The tank's job is to draw fire so that their team can hide behind them. They can take the brunt of the damage, and the DPS players can come from behind and grab the eliminations. If you just ignore the tank and they aren't able to aggro you, you can grab the picks on the healers or some of the DPS players, and then everybody focuses the tanks together. The best way to play it. Very well done by Win and company.
Oh man, that was a long fight there, prolonged in spawn, and again, not where you want to be. And only 50 seconds to go in this one. 11-9, super tight race. Are we going to get the nail biter finish we were hoping for? It appears we might.
It appears we might indeed. Well, Winsanity might be saying, hey, casters, I need you to shut up because we are putting the hammer down on our opponents. 13-10, up by 3 with only 30 seconds left. Winsanity Sir tag up. We've lost Corey. They're going to stay patient. They're going to stay together. They have the lead. They don't need to push the equation here. You can see this is Chris is going to have to play the aggressor role and to get involved. They have to find this full team wipe and tie up the battle. And I'm not sure they're gonna have enough time to do it. They've got a full Sin in now. You can see Chris taking the aggro role, playing Victor, is gonna charge in with the swords right behind. Hualing has to connect on a couple of these eliminations. They lose one in the process, and that is going to be it. 15-11 finish. Winsanity and company go up map 1, 1-0. Well done. Win looking pretty strong on Mark. I like that change.
Win picking up the victory there. Love the Mark choice for him. Mark, one of the easier heroes to play, actually. Just kind of a gunner, man. Get some shots down range, can amplify that damage with his ultimate. One of the things towards the end there, would have loved to have seen OJ with Hualing drop that snare bomb and keep all of his team in that single spot so his teammates could have obliterated them. But taking a peek here at Mark, no shield to speak of. He's got 5,600 HP, and with that prototype AR, gets shots down range pretty quickly and has an optic disrupt that can actually limit the opponent's vision, which is pretty cool. The ultimate ability is the proximity sensor and the scan and mark opponents through the walls, so you can do significant damage and really gear it up pretty strong, and that's Mark.
Yeah, this is a huge opportunity here for Winsanity and company to find match point, win on payload race, and not have to go to Crystal Assault. But as a reminder for everybody at home, we're almost done with the round robin. So if you want a chance to play T3, all you got to do is go over to TapTap right now. Click the link in the description and the pinned messages. They will take you right where you need to go in order to download TapTap. And there's a ton of amazing titles over there on TapTap. So we'll talk a little bit more about that in the future. But for now, it's 1-0 in the favor of Ruby's Rangers, and there's an opportunity here, Hunter's Heroes, to take this victory. And not only is it a massive potential victory for Hunter's Heroes, but it would also force a 3-way tie if Hunter's Heroes were to come out on top. Now, they will have to win the next 2 maps. We've got Payload Race that we've seen multiple times, and that all too elusive Crystal Assault, that 3rd round that Lance and I are praying we'll see. But don't worry, we will see it at the very beginning of bracket play. All right, Lance, so we've talked about predictions. You went with the alphabet. What are you feeling now? I mean, you're gonna kind of stick to your guns here with Hunter's Heroes?
I'm digging in. Heels are going into the earth right now. Hunter's Heroes has got to come through. We've got to see him get us to match 3. I want to see Crystal Assault. That is what I have to see, and really excited to have that come through. Got a little bit of technical difficulty, it appears, at the moment. We'll work through it and have this back online here any moment, but really excited here to see it looks like Crystal Assault if Hunter's Heroes can pull this off. So we'll see what happens coming up here in just a moment, but it's going to take a big effort from OJ, Thesaurus, and this is Chris.
Well, speaking of some of our favorite heroes, I haven't really had a chance to talk about my favorite heroes, Liz. So I was telling you I played quite a bit of Osis, but the Lobula is one of my favorites. It is kind of a unique hero. We haven't seen it yet on main broadcast either, and so I'd love to pull up that player card if we can for Lobula and kind of talk about the unique kind of utility features that some of these heroes have. The other one that kind of falls within that same category, although maybe you could categorize Lobula as a bit of a support, is Sindri with her turrets. We haven't seen a Sindri pick yet, which is kind of surprising for some of these newer players. Sindri is a fairly, honestly, a pretty strong pick in order to put down quite a bit of damage down screen.
Absolutely. Sindri is actually an easy hero to play, but also a higher skill cap, because if you're good at angles, if you're good at geometry, the placement of your rage ball, you can really kind of triangulate, make it difficult for people to actually take you down, because they've got to choose, do they shoot the rage ball or do they shoot you? Typically you want to ignore it, but depending on if there's a wall or a corner in the way, that's not always an option. So you have the ability to play like a really interesting game there with Sindri. And again, we'll look to see if she is out on the battlefield. It looks like we've got a Hunter, a Mark, and a Ruby taking on a Hualing, an Iris, and a Victor. Interesting matchup to say the least.
Couldn't agree more. I will say Ruby is a very strong pick in payload race. If I've seen anything from some of our competitors, throwing that shield down range, allowing you to advance behind it as many times as possible that you can throw your shields down range, the better, because there is the passive abilities that all of our players have unlocked with their the accounts that we're using for this event. You actually get some damage mitigation even if you get shot when you're near your shield, so keep that in mind. Put the shields out as many times as possible. Even if you can't cover all of the shots, you at least help yourself out a little bit from maybe a flanker or two.
I couldn't agree more. I am really excited, though, to watch as this match progresses. It's super tight right now, 48-43. And again, when Sanity and Sir Tag and Corey trying to put the nail in the coffin right now, and they are in the lead. It's very, very close, only about 6.5% separating these teams. Who is going to stop the other team's payload is the question right now. And it looks like Winsanity and crew have done just that.
Sometimes it's a bit chaos here in the T3 arena, especially when you got a healer on your side. This Victor is going to be very difficult to take down if the healer stays on him. Wasn't able to get there in time, though. You've taken down the off tank. Now's the time to push the equation. You can see Winsanity going to town. Corey from behind, a great flank. This could be the team wipe they need to really take the lead and make this a difficult battle to lose. This is Chris is trying to stop, but now there's a bit of feeding going on from the red team side. Chris is overextended. They've lost yet another life, but Orchard comes to the savior position with Hua Ling, grabs the pick, and then gets taken out.
They have completely abandoned trying to getting this payload to the finish line. They're like, listen, we're going to send your payload back to spawn. That's the name of the game at this point. We've got a big gap opening up now, 20% difference, and it is down to the very end for Hunter's Heroes. Guys, come on. I want to see Crystal Assault. Please pull it out here. Come up with a clutch. 25% now difference.
Ruby's Rangers on the doorstep of taking home, I believe, the second seed going into bracket play. If they're able to secure this, so far so good. Healer goes out, tries to throw the ult in order to keep herself alive, but Winsanity is looking comfy on Mark. It's like he plays shooters for a living or something, as he not only grabs a couple more eliminations, but is also playing the objective game flawlessly. OJ tries to do everything he can, but that will be a victory. Lance, unfortunately, the alphabet did not go in your favor that time around. Ruby's Rangers walk away with the victory.
Well, you can't win them all, Goj. You know, I was perfect up until now with that method. I'll have to take the L for this round. Unfortunately, Hunter's Heroes not able to persevere and pick up that map victory. Really, all I wanted to see was Energy Canyon and Crystal Assault. Unfortunately, not meant to be, not in the cards today, not in Ruby's cards, to say the least. And that is that. That wraps up our first round of play. The round robin stage is completed, and the standings picture is a little bit more clear. After that one, I was afraid we might have that three-way tie.
No, I know. It was going to be a close one, but Ruby's Rangers win Sanity specifically on Mark, and teammates were playing fantastic, but I just think the Mark play made sense. I think Win was going to try to play a bit more, I don't know, flex position, try out a bunch of heroes, which certainly you should do if you're playing at home, but in a tournament for $10,000, might as well do what is the easiest thing to do. Now, if we take a look at our leaderboard, I want to be very clear with how this lines up, because well, guess what? There's no tiebreakers at all. You can actually look down this list, and it almost worked out perfectly for us. We ain't got to do anything that is difficult behind the scenes. Glorious Gladiators on top will be ranked number 1, 3-0 throughout the day. Haven't even dropped a map, might I add. And then Ruby's Rangers, they did walk away 2-1, only losing to Glorious Gladiators. Aletta's Avengers, they brought it back at the very end, went 1-2, winning a game against Hunter's Heroes. And then, of course, Hunter's Heroes 0-3 in the round robin. Now, Lance, this is going to mean a lot, of course, for our bracket. This is determining on who you're going to play in the semifinals, and this will determine who, of course, once you win that semifinals, you go to the finals, and the finals is where most of our money is to be found. And so when we start talking about strategy, just because Hunter's Heroes went 0-3 doesn't mean they can't win this whole tournament.
Not at
all. They
all.
might have learned something. I hope they learned something in the first 3 matchups, and we'll have a little bit of time for them to kind of take some time, talk as a team, work on some team comps. Any words of wisdom, words of advice for some of the teams at home that maybe didn't put up as the best numbers they possibly could?
Absolutely. Looking at Gloria's Gladiators, clearly they have it together. They've got one of the community's best in T3, God, coming out, winning a tournament to be here in the first place. Yeah, you're going to have to gang up on that man. And in order to do so, you're going to need some heroes that can put out some damage. So I would be looking for some distraction, some damage. I would look for heroes like Sindri, like Labula, who we haven't seen at all today. I would definitely be looking at bringing a Diggy out. I want to see some that are not as easily tracked by the Kazuma and the Hua Ling that he's opted for so far. And then if you're looking for damage, definitely opt for a Scotty or a Judex. I would definitely like to see, that, Kazuma get knocked out of the sky at some point. They're going to have to make it a joint effort here. And it looks like in the next bracket phase, we'll have some different maps to approach. And it'll be interesting to see how the strategies develop as time goes on.
Well, before we go any further, the community's crying for it. I know they're spamming the chats for it, so we're going to give it to you. We've got one more giveaway code before the break. We're going to pull up on screen. TapTap, oh, you guessed it, 2. TapTap 2 to get your in-game rewards. All you got to do, go up to the menu, go to your options, go to the account, and then redeem code on the right side. Very simple to do. All you got to do, type in TapTap 2 to get your rewards. Now, we're going to start ramping up those rewards when we come back from the break, but before we go there, I've got to give one huge, massive shout out to TapTap. This is TapTap All-Stars, by the way, and they've got a ton of different game titles you can go check out on their app, and they've got some really cool things coming down the line. One of those things that I want to talk about is actually called TapTap Presents. Do you know what that is? July 23rd, it's coming, and there are some key things that we've got to talk about. It's a digital showcase introducing world premieres of new games and updates for popular mobile titles. It's back July 23rd, 4 a.m. Pacific time, 7 a.m. Eastern time on YouTube, Twitch, and on the TapTap app. So go check out TapTap right now. Go download TapTap right now. All you got to do is go to the description down below and the pinned messages for all of those that are watching this live. We thank you for being here live. We're going to head to a very short break, Lance. We're going to grab some water. We're going to breathe for a moment. We're going to let the teams do some conversating about maybe some new comps that maybe Lance will go give them some pointers. But until then, check out some really cool videos we have in store for you. We'll be right back in just a moment.
Diggy is a diver. She excels at melee fighting. Her primary weapon is an MD2 double-barreled shotgun. It can deal high burst damage in melee fights. But beware, the shotgun has a damage fall-off, so it's not suitable for mid and long-range fights. Diggy's active ability is Illusory Touch. She transforms into an orca and hides under the water. During her transformation, Diggy moves faster and can mitigate damages. Now she transforms back to her human form, dealing damage to opponents and slowing them down. Despite her powerful look as an orca, Diggy can be very fragile. She has to avoid taking damage while looking for opportunities to attack. Look at this. Diggy managed to avoid this burst of damage. Now it's her chance to shine. And because Illusory Touch can be charged up twice, she can transform and escape in time when she knows she's in danger. Diggy's ultimate ability is Illusory Blast. She transforms and jumps 4 times in a row to deal damage and knock back opponents. The range, however, is quite small. See how Diggy does her combo. She approaches her opponents with Illusory Touch, and then Blast. What a surprise. When her teammates are in danger, Diggy could save them by knocking back opponents with her ultimate. With her passive ability, Particle Mending, Diggy possesses high survivability. After transforming, her health will gradually restore. This can completely change the game for Diggy. As a diver, she has to rely on herself in most cases. When she runs into multiple opponents during an attack, she can use Illusory Touch to escape. And with Particle Mending, she can launch her next attack again, as soon as she's back, stronger than ever.
Born into a declined aristocratic family, Gloria started her own career as an adventurer to search for lost treasures. Her primary weapon is an MD2 double-barreled shotgun, which can deal high burst damage in a melee fight. Take note, the shotgun has damage fall off for longer range combat, making it unsuitable for mid-range and long-range combat. To make up for that, Gloria's active ability allows her to quickly switch to the second weapon, a full-auto ZMR assault rifle. The rifle has a high recoil, so Gloria has to hold it firm while shooting. After launching her active ability, Gloria holds her rifle to her shoulder to shoot, thus reducing her movement speed. So Gloria's position should be carefully considered when using the rifle. Gloria's ultimate ability is a quicksand bomb. This ability allows Gloria to throw a bomb that will count down. The bomb will generate a slowing field where it lands and deals damage to them once. When the countdown ends, the bomb will explode and deal high damage to all enemies. By pressing the ultimate ability button, Gloria will hold the bomb and predict its trajectory so that she can aim where the bomb will land. As the bomb will bounce off walls, Gloria can make good use of them to throw the bomb and reflect it to where she can't reach directly. Gloria's second ultimate ability is an amplifier module. You and your teammates can amplify your damage by shooting through the walls of this pyramid. But do note that this buff cannot stack. The adventurer always moves as quick as the wind. After reaching level 9, Gloria can equip the passive ability, Dashing. This ability allows Gloria to move faster if she has not attacked or been attacked for several seconds. Gloria can deal with enemies in different ranges by switching between shotgun and rifle. Using her passive ability, she can retreat to safety as necessary or return to the battlefield quickly after being respawned. The ZMR assault rifle has high burst damage, so it's recommended to wait for enemies by hiding around corners. Gloria has limited sight and mobility while using the rifle, so caution must be taken with tank characters like Victor or Javelin. With a quicksand bomb in hand, Gloria can take advantage of its slowing effect and burst damage, while dealing high melee damage with her shotgun to turn the tide. That's all for today's T3 Hero Guide. See you next time!
Ladies and gentlemen, we are back. We took our break, and well, it's the TapTap All-Stars event featuring T3 Arena. $10,000 on the line. I'm Goj. This is Powerbang, and we've had such a blast in the booth thus far. It was fast-paced action. It was intense, and Gloria's Gladiators was the team on top. Lance, how are you feeling after our round-robin section?
I'm feeling good, man. I definitely want to say I really enjoyed the T3 Arena anime right before we just started. That was an incredible little intro. I found myself grooving. I don't know about you guys at home. Would love to see more of that from the dev team for sure. But how I'm feeling is pretty good. I want to see some Crystal Assault. I want to see some control. Hopefully we get those game modes worked in and the teams can be, you know, splitting some maps here and there as we continue on. But we do have the bracket coming up here shortly. But before we get to it, gotta thank TapTap for coming up with his All-Stars tournament. And you can download some of the best games on their app store by going to that link in the description. Speaking of brackets, here is the semifinals. We've got the #1 seed, Glorious Gladiators, taking on Hunter's Heroes. Now, Hunter's Heroes still looking for their first victory, and Glorious Gladiators still have yet to be beaten, so that should be an interesting one. And on the other side of the bracket, we've got Ruby's Rangers taking on Alita's Avengers, each of them splitting maps on their way to their current number 2 and 3 positions.
That's a great point. And Alita's Avengers too, we got to talk about them because there is kind of a story there, right? They did a great job to at least find one victory, but at the same time, they didn't really have Rodeo throughout all of round robin play, and it's a bit of technical difficulties on his side. Now, luckily, he has downloaded, probably via TapTap, by the way, T3 Arena on a phone, is going to be playing on a different device that seems to be working, and that's good news because Rodeo, very talented, but I know he's not necessarily a phone player, so we'll see what he can do. New device, new way to play. Maybe he can pull his team up and win this first round. But guess what, Lance? We get to see your very own Crystal Assault. We've got a brand new set of maps in the semifinals. It is a best of 3. And we're going to start with Crystal Assault on Terminal Station and then go into Control.
You love to see it. We've got 3 different maps, but also 3 different modes. First up is Crystal Assault in the semifinals. Next, we also have Control, which is a central control point that each team is trying to hold and maintain control of for the duration of the map. First team to 100 will pick up the victory there. You can see that circle outlining that control point, and it's a battle for that destination throughout. And lastly, we've got Clash, which is a bit of a hardcore type of engagement here, where if you die, well, you don't respawn. So it's pretty hardcore. You want to make sure that you stay alive and, you know, keep things pretty strategic here. And we'll be taking on Clash on the Crossroads, which has a very nice little, you know, cross pattern in the middle where you're sure to see a lot of action. So that is the semifinals and what is on deck. And we're going to start out on Terminal Station. This is Crystal Assault, where each squad has a crystal near their spawn, and each team will be trying to assault the other team's crystal. You can see that happening here with Ruby throwing her cards. The first to knock that crystal down to 0% HP will be the victors of the round. Interestingly enough, as time goes on throughout the match, there will be double damage to the crystal, and then triple damage, and then ultimately quadruple damage to the crystal. So one final push may be all the team needs to get back into the fight and take the victory.
Look, I am so excited for some Crystal Assault, and we're already underway. You can see Thesaurus, Orange Juice. This is Chris versus Bobby Plays, Kairos, and of course, the legend himself, T3 God, our community member who's been putting in work. Now, this is a very interesting game mode because eliminations do nothing for you. All it does is open up windows and holes into their opponent's base. So a lot of these encounters, well, I say that, it already looks like we're putting the pressure on. If we're T3 God, Kairos, and Bobby, they've already taken out 12% of their opponent's crystals. So you can see how fast this can go. But like Powerbang said, as time goes on and our time limit dwindles, you start doing massive amounts of damage to the opponent's base.
I will say T3 God rocking Shell as a hero, and that is the first time we've seen Shell in the arena today. So excited to see what she can do. She shoots a laser beam that ramps up damage as it continues to be shot. So the longer that laser beam is active, the more damage it does. So definitely watch out for T3 God here.
No, I was going to say the exact same thing. Shell on Crystal Assault is one of my favorite heroes to play because, yes, when you're connecting with that beam on opponents, you start doing quite a sizable amount of damage the longer you can hold it. But the exact same thing happens when you attack the crystals. You can see, oh, it was 280, not too bad. Make it 420, make it 540. Why not? It's going to continue to ramp up the longer you hold down that trigger on the base. So already with a 21% advantage, only a minute and a half into this bout, it looks like T3 God's kind of team comp and strategy paying off thus far. And the source, this is Chris, Orange Juice, kind of waffling a little bit. We'll see if they can come back.
Absolutely. They really need to get on the aggressive here, completely choosing to play defensively in spawn, and at that, not even defending the crystal with Ruby's shield, which is a big mistake here. That shield will keep those opponents from being able to push through. Definitely need to get it out onto the battleground more often. So if they can hear me, hopefully Ruby can make some adjustments as we continue to play.
Well, double damage is active. We're nearing that halfway point, so all of the damage you start doing is going to be double. That means Shell is even more effective. Great shots there from Orange Juice's team. That's Thesaurus on your screen right now, able to take out Bobby Plays from distance. They're going to have to get a move on here on the opponents. One of the other things we've mentioned a couple times, of course, of the scaling damage, but because of that, I have seen some insane comebacks on Crystal Assault. I'm talking, 1% left. They just need to touch our base, but then we can swing 70% in a matter of milliseconds. And well, look at that. All of a sudden, tied. No, not tied. It goes the other direction. Thesaurus putting the hammer down on his opponents. They lose their whole team in the process. There's going to try to be a bit of a swing from T3 God Squad, but
it's going to be over right here. This is going to be a tough one for them to overcome. They have to get the kill on T3 God, and they are unable to do so. The percent ticking down. Team wipe, and it is over. Shell putting out too much damage. Great plays from Hunter's heroes to try to even it up and get that first map under their belt. They swung the tide. Unfortunately, though, could not hold off the counterattack. And as those damage multipliers ramp up, you really hope that all of your players don't die at the same time so somebody can come out and be a line of defense. And unfortunately for them, it didn't happen this time.
We also had a chance to see Sindri in that battle, putting up the turret. Turret can be helpful, not only to just lay some extra fire down, but maybe play a bit of defense as well while you move forward in the map. Regardless, we'll get to see a bit more of that in the next semifinals. But for now, we've seen one Crystal Assault. Lance, did it live up to expectations? What do you think?
Oh, I loved it. See, you had an opportunity there to go back and forth. You had one team dominant at the start, and honestly, it could have gone the other way. One of the tactics I want to talk about here is control of mid inside of the terminal station. Getting control of mid allows you to take advantage of the full heals that exist on both sides of the map. So if, for example, you take out the enemy, they are respawning, you're beaten down a little bit from the last fight, you don't have to continue to engage and try to chip away at the crystal. You can choose to, but you can actually retreat to mid, pick up a full heal, and then go back into the battle, win again, and do even more damage to that crystal. So that's kind of something that I look to see these teams maybe evolve their strategies as these maps go on.
Lance, I think you've got the pro strategies, my friend. I think you may have played this game a couple times, and if you could tell, Crystal Assault's your favorite, probably because you win a lot. Great strategies. Resource management is everything, whether it's abilities or the healing that is built into the map. Either way, make sure you utilize all those resources correctly. You'll probably find a victory. We're going to head into the next round soon, but again, we've got to shout out TapTap because they're the reason this is even possible. All you got to do is go check out T3 on TapTap right now by clicking that link in the description or the message that is pinned. And don't worry, we've got some giveaways coming right after this matchup. I've got another one for you, and they have scaled up. And also, I gotta give a shout out to all of our creators competing today. They've done a great job thus far, and they're running their own streams as well. Show them some love. I know they're giving away a code or two on their streams. You can find all rewards all over the place when it comes to TapTap. They are spreading out the love. But talk to me about this second map. This is Control on Elephant Astana, and Control is one of my favorite game modes because I love playing objective. What do you think about Control on Elephant Astana?
I really prefer fast-moving heroes for this particular game mode. Heroes like Aletta, like Diggy, like Shell, for example. The quicker you can get to mid and control that checkpoint, the better. And for heroes that can actually die and return to mid quicker, you have the advantage. So team comp here is everything, and it doesn't seem like any of those heroes are being actually employed right now. I'm still begging somebody to use Diggy, but I will say we've got Gloria's Gladiators off to a pretty good start here once again, and they are in control of the mid here with 20% already locked down.
I like the Sindri turret placement as well on the off angle, so Sindri can play the aggressive angle on the right. Looks like Glorious Gladiators are feeling good. Bobby Plays looks very comfortable on Mark. You've got Kairos playing utility, and then T3 God this time again playing Kazuma, playing the high ground position, and a jetpack above most of the opponents. Something that's worth mentioning here on Control that sometimes you kind of don't really know until you've played this game a couple times on T3 Arena is with with control, once you have the position of mid and you have captured the zone, you actually don't need to stand on it for that percentage to tick up. It is yours until it is taken away. So yes, control mid, control the choke points, but you don't have to stand directly in the center. Play the different angles. An opportunity here for, of course, This Is Chris and company to swing around the corner and potentially try to grab a few more picks. They're gonna have to open a hole somewhere, and it probably needs to be on either Sindri or Mark, and then they can focus down Cosma after the fact.
You see they're doing a great job splitting their resources, handling left lane, right lane, and the center checkpoint here. And really, there's no answer for it right now. Hunter's Heroes just getting obliterated. And it looks like so far, everything going to plan for Glorious Gladiators. Remember, the semifinal is a best of 3, so if they emerge victorious here, this will be the final push. That will move them on to the finals where they will play for their share of $10,000.
This means everything's on the line, and when everything's on the line, T3 God shows up. 1, 2, make it 3. The full team wipe up in the skies. Very well done by Cosma to clutch the victory. A massive effort in a lot of the same. Glorious Gladiators moving on to the finals. 2 up, 2 down. Glorious Gladiators have not dropped a single map. Power Bang, I mean, what were they doing right in that control map?
They really got out there early and secured the checkpoint. That's the first thing that you have to do in control is secure your home base. And once they did that, they did a great job of fanning out so that not all of their players could be taken out by a single ultimate ability from the other team. It was maybe one person could get knocked off at a time, but great job supporting each other and the center player flexing to go support as needed. I believe that was Kairo's time, but really impressive job so far from the Glorious Gladiator squad. You're going to see them move on to the finals where they can win $6,000 as their share for first place in this tournament. But we still have Ruby's Rangers and Aletta's Avengers to duke it out, and we'll see if the rodeo can make a difference over on that side of the bracket.
I gotta say too, Power Bang, you gotta give credit where credit's due. Glorious Gladiators are dominant today, and they've already, with that victory, I don't want to understate this, they're walking away with at least $3,000. I mean, they're getting second if they lose in the finals. A massive effort, $1,000 apiece. Very well done thus far by Glorious Gladiators. Hunter's Heroes, we salute you. But unfortunately, that was a ticket home. Glorious Gladiators stamped it and put it in your pocket and threw you on the train rather forcefully, might I add. There was a little bit of a rough bout of it, but still, thank you for participating. You still will be walking away with $500 for tying 3rd and 4th place. But we've got to give a shout out to TapTap because they made it possible, and also a shout out to TapTap because not only can you download T3 on TapTap right now by clicking that link in the description and of course clicking that pinned message, we also have a giveaway for those at home. As we check out some of the replays from the last map, I'll bring that giveaway up right after these replays. I want to give credit to Kairo's time. We've been talking about T3 God, we've been talking about Bobby Plays a lot, but Kairo's time on Sindri was a perfect pick, and that's actually one of the things that this team actually talked about in Discord beforehand. T3 God was like, hey Kairos, if you want to play a little bit of Sindri, you throw that turret out on one side, you attack another angle, especially on control, you're going to find some success there. We even saw the turret grab an elimination or two by itself at the end there. So impressive job, Kairos time. Very well done by you. We'll see you in the finals. But for now, let's put up that giveaway code on screen. Let's give back to the community. T3 Dubest 1. T3 Dubest 1.
Dubest.
Lance, if you're just tuning in, this is probably my favorite giveaway code we've done thus far, by the way. It's also the highest level. We're giving away more every time. You click that menu, top right-hand corner, click options, account, and then you go to the redeem code button and type it in.
While we have time, I want to get a message to the players. Somebody pick Labula on this map. Combine that with Sindri, and it's basically like having 5 players on your team. They've got the don't call it broccoli little companion that he could spawn. It's super strong, and not only that, Labula was buffed significantly over the last patch, so much stronger on the battlefield right now. And that laser beam or grenade or whatever it shoots, super strong now. So I'd love to see Labula and Sindri team up here. You saw Kairo's time making great use of the Rage Ball in the last game. It's literally like having another player because it can cover multiple angles, and really it's pretty powerful. So especially for control, a smart choice, and I would love to see Labula get some action today.
Look, I think they're probably watch partying some of you. So players, if you're at home, you're kind of waiting in the lobby, you're listening to us talk, do it. Lobula, Sindri, use some of these different abilities we're talking about. I know some of you are new to the game, but there is a huge opportunity that you are not taking advantage of that TapTap makes possible through their App Store. A ton of different titles you can go check out on TapTap. And like I mentioned, by the way, during the break, really cool opportunity to look into a different live stream, TapTap Presents, that is coming up shortly. So stay tuned for that. Make sure you follow all the TapTap socials so you can check out TapTap Presents, an awesome digital showcase.
That's who I was looking for.
There it is.
There we go. Lapula, it's my broccoli friend. Don't call him broccoli. He hates it. He's got a spore gun, and as he shoots out those spores, they do a significant amount of damage. He's got active ability of bouncy spores, which bounces between heroes and deals a temporary shield to friendly heroes and damage to hostile heroes. So it's basically a buff for your team, a nerf for the opponents, and the ultimate ability is the companion that doesn't move but shoots at what Labula is currently targeting. So that's pretty freaking cool if you ask me. It's like having another friendly character on the battleground. Labula makes a nice companion with Sindri. So if we could see these guys team up, that would be fantastic. But we are back to Terminal Station, where we will be watching some elite hacks going over the wall. Not actually hacks, but some sweet moves there as Aletta gets to the crystal super fast.
Wasim is not messing around. It's like he's been here before, not only finding an elimination, but at least 10% on the crystal immediately. Now, this aggressive stance could come back to bite them because, again, yes, they've done 20%, but if this swings the other direction, especially later into the map when the double damage, the triple damage is active, you can see 70% diminish in a matter of a blink of an eye. But a great start here from Wasim, Rodeo, and Lex, and this is an opportunity to make their way to the finals.
You saw mid-control executed perfectly there from Wasim. Made it all the way to the crystal. Does significant damage here. And by the time somebody goes to challenge him, he just retreats and goes back to mid, where he's able to keep going. Look at him. He's going to go grab health and stay in the fight. That's a full heal here, and that's exactly how you play Terminal Station here. Control that middle, and this is a man who's definitely done it before. You saw him use the double jump to get over that wall. Yep. He's absolutely shredding.
Lance, I think he might have tuned into the broadcast as well. He's like, I got the Power Bank Pro strats. There's no question. I got to add, too, Wasim, namely is playing Aletta on the Aletta's Avengers. I mean, I think you've got to win with this strategy, and it's great to see Rodeo involved, playing Hunter, playing that support kind of DPS role from behind, taking long-range encounters, everything going in their favor currently.
Oh, he is just putting on a clinic right now, using the ultimate ability. The ultimate of Aletta is literally no reloads. You can consistently fire, and that is not, huge damage, but just consistent damage, and he's able to just completely take the enemy down all the way to under 40% before he finally dies.
Scene came out swinging, and Rodeo and company are trying to cover up. Now, again, Rodeo not playing on his native format, but still looks pretty solid, using Hunter in a pretty decent way. I mean, he's going to try to take on Corey, will lose his life. He distracted the enemy in the process, and Wasim is just still tearing it up in the back line, not only finding elimination after elimination, now double damage. It's getting dicey. You can see the damage ticking in for Winsanity on the other side, but I don't know if it's going to be enough.
He's got the spawn timing down and everything moving at the perfect time. Winsanity unable to take him down, and that is going to do it.
Wow.
Wasim putting on a clinic here with Aletta and Aletta's Avengers. I think we've got a challenger for Gloria's Gladiators if they can be so lucky to make it that far. That was incredibly impressive. One of the most dominant performances we've seen of the day.
Look, we talked about how Aletta can be so deadly in control with her movement abilities, but if you time it correctly, you use the pro power bang strats of headed back to center, use the resources to your advantage, you can see how deadly this hero can be. Lance, take us through Aletta's details here, because she has been a difference maker for the squad.
The key to Aletta in that game was honestly the passive ability. I'm going to start at the bottom. Double jumper. You can tap again on the jump button to do a double jump. That actually allowed Wasim to clear a huge wall in the middle of the map and take a straight line approach all the way to the enemy spawn. He caught them off guard, basically caught them with their pants down, took them out, and then basically took down the enemy's crystal all the way to 80%. Just on the first volley, was able to get all the way back to mid. So that active ability, the hollow dash, on display once again from Aletta. I'd be shocked if we don't see more of her on that map.
Couldn't agree more. Go play some Aletta on Crystal Assault right now via TapTap. Go download T3 on TapTap's App Store. Click that link in the description and the pinned message. They're the reason we're able to make all of this possible, by the way. So show them some love. Go follow their social medias all across the board. I know we've got about 4 or 5 different live streams around. We got a watch party over on T3 Arena's site as well on their YouTube channel. So thank you for the love today. This has been such a blast, but we're not done yet. It's 1-0 in the favor of Wasim and company. That's Aletta's Avengers leading the charge currently. They are on match point and Control is underway. Power bang. What do you think Winsanity's crew is going to have to do here in Control to become the victors and force a round 3?
They're going to have to gain control a middle early. It looks like they've got a little bit of a disadvantage right now with Hunter coming out early. When he throws his scanning grenade, that actually increases his speed as a passive ability. So at level 10, he's able to run faster, which allows him to secure great position early on, and that gets him the checkpoint early.
Close battle there, but Gloria comes out on top over Ruby. Spectating Rodeo again. Glad he's getting a bit more screen time. He's going to showcase what he's able to do on mobile than his native, like we've mentioned, but he's playing that support role. I really like this idea here from Rodeo too. He knows what his role needs to be in this team comp with the way he's playing now, and Hunter unfortunately will go down. They do have the Jabali. That's Lex playing the Jabali this time around, and it's going to be a Ruby versus Lex in terms of the tanks on the opposing side, and you also have a Ruby trying to do the best she can area the backline. Unfortunately, he's going to go down 21-19. This is a close one.
It is. They have just come back, and it is now going the other way. You can see the objective at the top taken, and we have another change of hands right now. It is nearly even at this point in time. We still have 5.5 minutes on the timer to determine a victor, and we've got Rodeo here seeming to opt for Hunter. He does go down, but with the push, he has fired someone off the map. Incredible use of the active ability there from Hunter.
Look, I love a good boop. That's what I call them, the boops off the map. There's a number of different heroes you can do that with. Nice little play there. That'll certainly go into the highlight reel, but you swing down, play a bit too aggressive, get isolated from your team, you're going to get taken care of. That's Corey finding Lex, and blue team still in the lead, 51, make it 52-27. And this is where you really need to be careful if you're Winsanity. Sure, you can maybe peek a corner and try to grab a pick, but if you go in and trickle in before your team is ready, this is going to be a perpetuating cycle, and you're not going to be able to come back from it. And this is certainly a crucial moment here for Winsanity, Corey, and Surtak.
Great use of the ultimate there from Mark. They have every single player targeted, and he can do additional damage. Can he take advantage? It does not look like it. Wasim with the huge kill there, and they will hold mid. It looks like they've got one more opportunity to take this over. Now, it is not uncommon to see a crazy comeback, but they're going to have to push together, and a mistake by Rodeo pushing far into the enemy's base. This could be what they needed, but ultimately able to pick up a kill. Can they get back to center? I don't know if they can. They're going to go for it, though. Gloria pushing the Lex. He's got to get down there 95%. Only 5% to go. When Sanity goes down, it's not looking good. Wasim and Aletta's Avengers take the map. 100% has been achieved.
Oh, that was a crucial map because that's 2 up, 2 down. Aletta's Avengers will be headed to the finals. Lance, I gotta say it again, by the way. That's a 2-map series that was basically a $1,000 a piece game. They've secured at least second place with that victory. That's $3,000 in their pocket. And we have our final 2 teams playing for the lion's share of the 10K. $6,000 for first place. This is another $1,000 a piece match to add to the 1,000 they've already won, all courtesy of TapTap. So thank you to TapTap for making this all possible and sponsoring this prize pool for all of our creators. I could only imagine the feeling, Lance, that Rodeo in particular has at the end of that one of like, I'm back, baby, we're in the finals. And again, thank you to TapTap for making that possible.
Absolutely. Again, go to the TapTap app store in the link in the description. Go check out T3 Arena, and you can maybe join one of our finalists here on the battlefield as they return back to the arena here. We got Gloria's Gladiators taking on Aletta's Avengers. Aletta's Avengers and Gloria's Gladiators each have one of the community pro players that are coming in to, support them. And that's kind of notable, I would say. Aletta's Avengers looking really strong in the semifinals. We didn't have that same impression of them through round robin play due to some of the issues Rodeo was having. But now they may be a force to be reckoned with. I think we might have a closer finals on our hand than we originally anticipated.
I couldn't agree more. And what's really exciting about the finals from our side, Lance, is, well, we get to see more T3 Arena. So let's take a look at the teams, and then we'll talk about the format. Bobby Plays has been kind of specialized on Mark for a little while, and it's proving pretty useful. Maybe secondary character for him is Osis. And then we've got Kairos Time doing a great job on Sindri. Last map on Control. T3 God kind of just doing everything he can in order to secure victories from Kazuma. Of course, Hua Ling early in the tournament. And you've got Wasim, Lex, in the Rodeo back in it again, leading his team to victory. But I've got to say, as much as he's leading the team maybe from the IGL stance, the story of these last couple maps has been Wasim doing an incredible job playing with Aletta on Crystal Assault, and then a great job, of course, in Control as well.
Absolutely. Wasim kind of leading the charge here, kind of an unsung hero coming into this one, but man, he has been really impressive, especially with Aletta on Terminal Station. For the finals, we have our map and modes determined, and we're going to be seeing, again, Control, but this time on the Arctic Express map. You can see it's got that central control point, but this time there's a bridge on top where we bring in some verticality for the gameplay. Excited to see that. For the next, we have Payload Race, again, taking place on Warehouse Soda 1. That will be map number 2, and again, getting that payload to the finish line is the name of the game. For map 3, which will be played, we will be seeing Clash for the first time on Cuenca del Piñata, and this is going to be a hardcore matchup where you don't respawn, so it's going to be an interesting clash on this map. And then if we do push it to extra time here and force a 4th and 5th map, we'll be doing Team Deathmatch on Brave Walk Kingdom, which is also one of my favorite maps. This is super, super fun. It reminds me of a little bit of a playhouse. It's got multiple levels, lots of complexity here, and is great for some long-range sniping action. Excited for Brave Walk Kingdom. And lastly, my favorite map in the game, Energy Canyon, and this will be Crystal Assault. I am praying and hoping that we go to 5 games here for the finals, because I want to see Energy Canyon, Coach.
No, those launchers are so fun, and the different angles you can take on Energy Canyon would be a blast. I think if there's a matchup to do it, it's going to be this one. We're in the finals. It is a best of 5 for the finals, like we were describing. That's why you have 5 maps that you could play, potentially. You've got to find 3 wins. 3 wins. That means you're taking home $6,000 in your pocket. And, well, look at if you guys back home, you're like, what can I get in my pocket? Well, I can tell you. We've got another giveaway code for you right now that you can type into T3 Arena, especially if you downloaded it via TapTap. T3 The Best 2. Did you guess that one this time around? You see a pattern. T3 The Best 2. Not The Best. The Best 2 is the code that you need to type in. Menu, top right hand corner, hit the options, hit the account button, and then hit the redeem code button and type it in.
Love to see it. I'm loving these codes. So original, so clever. T3, The Best 2. Get you guys some loot in game, and join us in the arena by downloading T3 Arena through TapTap. Super excited to kick off our finals, and we will be doing so on Control. We'll be doing it on Arctic Express here, and again, check out that bridge in the center of the map. Give some nice verticality to the center control point. We also have channels to enter from the side. We've got one side that's elevated where you cannot get up there from the ground, but you can go up there from the side. So it's going to be interesting, and there are full heals that are off to the side where you can see that Labula hiding down below. So definitely excited to see Arctic Express. That's coming up next for game number 1 of our $10,000 TapTap All-Stars Finals.
Man, this has been such a fun event, like we've mentioned multiple times, Lance, and we thank you to TapTap for, of course, making that possible. But I think the finals is going to be the culmination of everything we've seen thus far. We've seen dominating performances, of course, from Glorious Gladiators, and as we kick it right off, we're directly in. Arctic Express is here. The train is moving, and the question is who's going to strike first, not only from the elimination side, but capturing the point. We lose a couple in the process, but it is Wasim able to stay alive, this time playing Ruby to secure the point and hold it down for a bit and find a couple of eliminations. Incredible job from Wasim.
Gonna shout it again. He gets the jump on T3 God. T3 God coming out with Kazuma. Tries to engage up on the bridge, but Wasim having none of it. Able to hide behind the shield of Ruby, and that is huge. T3 God and Bobby Plays coming from the top ropes now. This is interesting, and it's assault from above. Kairo's time up on the bridge, trying to take control of this checkpoint. Wasim taken down by T3 God.
I love this viewpoint that we get to see of how we're trying to hold the point. Again, you don't have to stand on the point to hold it. A great ult here from Lex to reflect back some of the enemy's bullets, able to stay alive for a moment. And you've got Rodeo playing Gloria, which I actually quite like this pick with the variability of weapons that she could use. Her base weapon, the shotgun, and of course, you can change it to the AR using her ability. And so she can play long range, she can play short range, and using her ult can maybe try to trap people in their tracks, prevent them from capturing the point. Rodeo's looking pretty comfortable on this phone, I gotta say, although he does go down here a bit of caster curse. I think this is the first time Glorious Gladiators are getting pressed, and they're like, oh, wait, we gotta try? We might lose? Are you kidding me? They haven't lost the map yet, and so far it's almost 70-0.
Look at the shield usage from Ruby here. That is how it's done. Wasim getting it down, able to survive, but finally the objective has been taken back by T3 God and the Glorious Gladiator squad. Is it going to be enough, though, or is it too little too late? They're going to have to hold and find out here. 4.5 minutes left to go in this one. 74-11. It's anyone's game at this point.
Bobby Plays holding down the point, playing a little bit of Mark, seemingly where he's most comfortable, just playing that true raw DPS point. You've got a Christina as well here from Kairos time, is pretty useful, but unfortunately T3 God's all by himself, and well, he's going to take a bit of his own damage back with the ult there from Lex. A great job to hold down the point. Lex says, not in my house. I'm taking this point. I'm holding it down. Jabali is here to stay. He's going to be able to take as much damage as possible. Will get finished off there by Kairos.
Huge plays from Lex there, and a perfect use of the ult to reflect that damage. Ultimately, T3 God just had to ignore him. They're going to try to take this thing over 90% progress. Wasim takes him down. That might have been the clincher right there. It's all or nothing right now for Glorious Gladiators, and it is going to be nothing on map number 1, and who would have thunk it? We have ourselves 99%. And it comes down to this.
Overtime, Bobby's trying to do anything he can to keep that timer running. They've jumped on it. Kazuma reset the overtime. See, Christina's going to try to do the same. She gets melted before she gets there. The story of the evening. Glorious Gladiators have finally lost a map. The pressure's on. You can see the excitement from Rodeo, Lex, and of course, Wasim, who went big as Ruby. All three of those players played a fantastic rep in control. I gotta give credit, though, to specifically Lex, holding that down by himself as Jabali and finding some eliminations to keep that reset from happening. Flawless execution. Well done.
I think there's no way production comes up with this, but I would invite you guys in the stream to rewind, take a snapshot of the Rodeo's face earlier when he wasn't able to play. Long face, super sad eyes, and then the bot underneath of him as far as the name, to that where he's like, yeah, baby, we got the lead in the finals of this $10,000 TapTap All-Stars tournament. I'm super excited to see if they can hold on to the lead, challenging Glorious Gladiators the first time they've dropped the map at all, and it happens here in the finals. We take a look at Jabali, played so skillfully by Lex last time.
Lex did a great job of utilizing all of these abilities. When we talk about resource management, we're talking about the energy barrier in particular. It's the massive shield that you see. Now, the key part, the best way to use this shield is when do we have it up, but the best players know when to not have it up, when to have it down, because that's when it regens. So if you could take the time to drop the shield even when players are reloading, that's going to set you apart from being a good Jabali to a great Jabali. And then that pulsar response is a massive way to use utilize your ult to reflect back all of the opponent's damage. And hey, might as well give your allies a bit of an increase with the passive as well. Jabali, a very strong hero. And it's all brought to you by TapTap. You can play T3 Arena now. Try out Jabali. Do it through TapTap. All you got to do, click that link in the description. Click that link up in the pinned post. A lot going on TapTap. We talked about TapTap Presents. We talked about all the different titles you can find. Genshin Impact, there's a lot of them. They're going to do a digital showcase of all of those updates as well later this month. But Lance, we've got $10,000 on the line. It's 1-0, of course, in the favor of Aletta's Avengers, and we're back to payload race. We're back to, well, honestly, a bit of the thorn in Aletta's Avengers side. They weren't able to take a win on this map, at least not more than maybe once against Hunter's Heroes. The question is, can they do it again with this newfound momentum?
We got Hua Ling back on the arena here, and Hua Ling is dangerous, to say the least. Let's just put it that way. T3 God trying to make a difference here for his team. And look at the gridlock we have right now. It's like 23-23. T3 God taking Jeff Lex. Jabali goes down to Hua Ling, and it's the Battle of the Rubies on your screen right now. Interesting stuff.
Kairos versus Wasim. They're both playing Ruby. You've got Bobby Place back on Mark. You know, no surprise there. You've got Lex back on Jabali. Seemingly has found a home. And this is a battle. This is what we wanted from the finals, right? Certainly some teams are going to be stronger than others, but this is a battle. This is a war of attrition within percentage points. We need some momentum to carry forward one team over the other. Some of the strategy we saw that worked earlier is if you can get a pick, push the equation, grab a team wipe, send their payload back, and send yours forward at the same time.
Huge kill there from Bobby Plays with Mark. He's able to pick up frag as well as T3 God rocking out with Hua Ling. And as these payloads round the corner to go down the home stretch, this is where the battle gets intense. The teams are out in the open, not quite the amount of cover that they're used to on the approach here. And this is where the gap has widened. We've got Glorious Gladiators now with a 20 percentage point lead. And there is no answer right now from Wasim and the opponents here. 20% and closing now. It looks like it's getting more narrow. The payloads are going the wrong way. It's not what they're hoping for here.
No, that's exactly what Rodeo, Wasim, and Lex are hoping for, because all of a sudden it's about to be a tie ball game. We're going to try to go to a quick listen in and see what some of these teams are coming back and forth. So let's listen in, turn up their comms. Let's see if we can hear them talking.
Yes. Still holding. Push it. Push it. Yeah, doing it.
Watch out for Hua Ling on the bridge. T3 God up there, sniping.
I like that play too. Well, let's bring it back to us. I gotta say, not necessarily super surprised. I like the IGL play. Oh, T3 God maybe shut up for a moment. That was a great shot to keep things close. But I was gonna say, Rodeo, I was expecting to be the IGL, but it was Lex. The Jabali IGL works because you can kind of see most of the battlefield. You're holding down position. You can tell your team when to push behind me or when your shield's about to crack. And Lex was doing most of the calming in that listen, and very impressive. You guys at home were able to hear that. He was saying, push with me, back off. Great IGLing so far from Lex. So far, it's working in their favor. They are in the lead. Now, Lance, this isn't match point, but this is a scary position. If we see Aletta's Avengers go up 2-0, we'll be on match point going into Clash on the next map.
Especially with T3 God on Hua Ling. He's been dominant on that character so far, and you can see Ruby here with the shield pushing him off, and does he get the kill? He does! T3 God down, and this looks like it's going to be about it. 85%. Mark trying to do everything he can. He's unsuccessful, and this looks like it will do it. Wasim getting into the home stretch. They might have to defend one more push.
I am very impressed with Wasim, whether it's Aletta that he's playing or if it's Ruby. He seems incredibly comfortable. Listen in. We're going to see if we can listen in to their celebration at the end of this one.
Tank if you want to try something like that. Like, we can do something similar where Bobby goes double, or where Bobby...
Ooh, I actually like that. I like that, Lance. Powerbank, we had a chance to listen into the team that lost, and they're immediately, what do we do different? What can we change? Everything's on the line. They're at match point.
Hey, their backs against the wall at this point. It's 2-0, and Aletta's Avengers, while they started a little shaky, they're finishing strong, and that's what counts here in this bracket tournament. Everyone able to kind of start over fresh and show them what they got, and here they are in the finals with a 2-0 lead. That means they just need to win 1 out of the next 3 maps, and next up we're going to see Clash. The interesting thing is they're immediately on the Glorious Gladiators side trying to strategize, like, what do we do different? And they were recognizing some of what the opponent was doing and saying, like, maybe we do some of the same thing here. That seemed to be really, really effective.
No, and the Clash game mode is going to be really interesting to see how the picks come through. It's not a traditional system where you get to pick whatever hero you would like to use and use it throughout the entire map. You actually change round to round. We're going to get into descriptions of that in a moment, but I know those of you at home are watching, you're saying, wait, it's match point? We haven't done a giveaway in a while. Oh, guess what? We've got another one for you in between while this match is going on. Let's bring up that giveaway code on your screen. TapTap All Stars 1. That is our giveaway for today. You know how to do it. I've told you it 1,000 times, but if you're just tuning in, you're like, oh, there's giveaways going on? Yeah, I got you. Menu, options, account, redeem code, type it in. TapTap All Stars 1. Take home your giveaway. They've been ramping up all day. They're getting a little bit more potent, but don't worry. We've got 1 or 2 more down the pipeline shortly.
Love it. So stick around. I'm hoping that we see a Shell and a Diggy in the Clash mode, because I do favor heroes that can move very quickly. People that can be distractions, that can get out of battle before they're dead, right? Like if you end up with a character that you're in an engagement, you realize, wow, this isn't going my way, this guy's really strong, you can just leave. And with Shell or Diggy, that's something that they are able to do. And the reason they're able to do it is because they downloaded the game through the TapTap App Store. You can find the link for that in the description below. And big thank you to them for putting this event on. We've had a lot of fun broadcasting today. Hopefully you guys have had fun watching it. And I know our players are absolutely thoroughly enjoying themselves, especially Aletta's Avengers, as they have come back to take a 2-0 lead in the finals. And this could be our game championship clinching match. But if Glorious Gladiators has anything to say about it, it will not be, and we will keep the party going.
Well, let's talk about Clash for a moment. This is the first time we've been able to see this screen. This is the player pick screen, and the reason we can see it is because the way this game mode works is you get 1 life. You only have 1. If you go down, you're down for the round, and if your team gets wiped and their opponents win, they've won a round. You're playing to a certain map count, but the big key to this is if you win a round with a hero, you cannot use that hero again. So there's a bit of strategy here. What team comps do we want to use round per round? If Lex is going to use the Jabali early, great. If they win this round, he can't use it again. This is going to really showcase who has played the game a lot, who has an understanding of the different heroes. I think T3 God and Rodeo are going to have a massive advantage here.
You gotta love that. Aletta's the one that gets found first, and unfortunately, with all 3 of the enemy players there, they are not able to capitalize on that opportunity. But they are able to take down Rodeo early on in this when T3 God eliminates him, and now the pressure is on Iris going after Lex here. Iris, the healer, but also can put out a fair bit of pressure herself, and in a one-on-one situation, she is very, very stubborn. Very difficult to kill, because she has that heal over time that can keep her in the fight.
Couldn't agree more. 3 minutes on the clock, but that's just for this round. So you can see who is up and who is down. You're going to have to be careful here as we see some of these players playing. I think one of the things that's worth noting is making sure we are aware of who is playing which character, because again, you only have 1 life, and if you go down, you can't play it again. See Wasim kind of playing the high ground position. Going to be looked at there by Bobby Plays. This is a 2v3 situation, so they're going to have to be pretty careful with the way they play it. Now, when you have Aletta and you have the mobility, you can pop in, find an elimination on Bobby Plays, and then pop out. Flawlessly executed.
You love to see this. Aletta going in, trying to make her mark. She's pretty squishy, though. She's going to have to get out of there in a hurry, and that is something difficult to finish those fights, but great for getting information and then getting out, picking up the health packs on the ground, and staying in it here. Wasim able to get around the rock here, but he isn't going to make it out of this fight without some damage. It's a great little battle going on.
No, I like it. You gotta play safe, you gotta play patient, a little damage mitigation with the shields up, you gotta use Ruby, cover yourself, try to stay up, health dwindling, but they find another pick. It's a 2v1 situation, a massive effort here from both teams, but it is up to Kairos. T3 God versus Wasim. This is going to be a tough battle to win. It's certainly possible. Wasim is going to be tough to track down, but he's going to play the aggressor role. Going for a pick, tries to find one. Able to do quite a bit of damage, but is going to get almost eliminated. Tries to dip out and is able to do so. This is where you have to know where these healing spots are so you can go back and regen your health and then push the equation. Something else, Powerbang, as the time dwindles, the zone closes in and forces you to play in a tighter and tighter spot.
There's no way Aletta wins this. If Wasim wins this, he's the GOAT. I'm sorry. He's going up against a tank with a healer on the tank. I mean, what are you supposed to do about this? She just doesn't put out enough damage here to take down Ruby or Iris for that matter. So really kind of a tough spot here for old Aletta.
It is a tough spot. Now, again, this zone's going to close in. They do have the high ground position. So the question is, how do you take this fight? You're going to play low. They're going to play high. And there's a pillar in the center. Somebody needs to push the aggressive spot. And, well, guess what? It's probably the team with two that's going to come out on top. You can see the excitement in Kairos' eyes. He goes, all right, we've got a map. Now, as they're picking back through this, again, you can't use the same characters. It was actually Mark, Ruby, and Iris that won them that battle. It is a best of 5 inside of Clash. So it's the first team to 3 wins. And if they win this one, you can't use Victor. You can't use Aletta. I mean, there's a lot of options here, of course, in terms of what heroes you can use, because they all can pick, well, just about any hero that's available with their accounts. But, I mean, Lance, looking at these comps, I mean, what do you expect to see from maybe Wasim, Rodeo, and company?
I expect to see them go up against a tough team here, and I expect them to go down 2 maps to 0 at the moment because, again, long range right now with Osas, I don't know. Like, once you know where Osas is, it's so easy to avoid with all of the cover here. So high risk, high reward play. We'll see if it works out for them. Judex, though, definitely a beast on the battlefield, and she could be the difference maker here. You'll see Rodeo at the controls behind Judex.
I think one of the things that you've got to do if you're Osis, you have to get a pick. That is key to your success. You see Kairos time weak in the Osis pick. No, it actually be Rodeo that finds the elimination. 1, 2, 3. That's how fast Clash can go if you do it correctly. Now, Osis wiped off, Judex wiped off, and I believe it was, I don't know if it was Scotty on that side or if it was... It was Scotty. Okay, I know we've got a little bit of discrepancy there, but you can't pick those again. Osis was a great pick. It's a great way to win Clash if you can get the early pick. High risk paid off. Where do you go from here?
You know, it's a great question. I personally believe that Shell is one of the best heroes on this particular map because she can burn down an individual so quickly. And with her kind of teleport morph ability, she can skirt around and kind of seek out players that are just kind of like the wee little lamb that might be away from the pack and take care of them and get out without risking serious damage to herself. So I'd like to see Shell get picked, although we have not seen that happen just yet.
Yeah, I will say, too, one of the things worth mentioning is that Wasim can play Aletta again because, well, they didn't win when he was playing Aletta, so it only gets banned if you win with that hero. So you need to watch out for what these characters are able to do. Now, Lex has just been eliminated very early into this bout, so it's going to be Rodeo, it's going to be Wasim, and we might have had, I don't know if it's technical difficulties or he's playing a backline position, but no, he's able to move now. Okay, he's running around. He was just trying to play that kind of long-range spot, and Rodeo will get taken out. So, yet again, Wasim left all by his lonesome. Very comfortable on Aletta. We've seen what he can do on that hero, but in a 1v3, I mean, Powerbang, what can he do at this point?
He could run very
Sure.
quickly.
Oh, Bobby with the shot. You can see his reaction out of the air. Osis snipe. Bobby finds the final elim, and they are knocking on Clash's victory's door. One more win to Bobby, Kairos, and T3, and they take Clash.
And again, of note that Clash is a best of 5. So the first of 3 maps will take this one, and it doesn't count for 3 points. It only counts for 1. So if indeed Gloria's Gladiators are able to pull this map off, they will get 1 point and even the overall score. Well, not even it, but they'll get 1 point towards their total, which will be 2-1. So they have to try to win right here, and we'll take an aerial view and watch the approach. Looks like Rodeo and Lex and Wasim all working the same way. This is going to be an epic class. Wasim takes the middle, has the high ground, has Aletta, has some great scouting reports going out. Let's see who gets the first pick.
Again, this is a big moment here because, as a reminder, this is a match point here for Aletta's Avengers. They went up 2-0 in the overall best of 5 here in the finals. Now, they're down in Clash. If they lose, there's a potential reverse sweep option still floating out there. I would love to see that map 5 play at Energy Canyon, but a quick pick 1-2. See Rodeo go down. It seems in a bit of trouble yet again. Still trying to get a victory on Aletta, but get shot from distance. Incredible job.
Hey, I'm loving this. We got an epic 2-2 score going into a 5th and deciding round. It all comes down to this. 6 heroes banned from each side now, and that means we're going to see all new heroes in this round. That doesn't mean that the hero is banned from the team. It just means that the player can no longer select the hero. So this time you'll see Hunter being played by Bobby Plays. Kairos time going to pick up Judex, T3 God taking Victor, Wasim, Rodeo, and Lex bringing back Ruby, Hualing, and Jabali to the battlefield. Who do you like in this one?
I want to see Lex kind of pop off on Jabali again. I think if they play it correctly, they play together, play as a unit, I think there's a huge opportunity to win this map. Again, this is last map no matter what. Both of these teams on match point in Clash, but it is Aletta's Avengers on match point for the tournament. This is a potentially $3,000 round of Clash for Aletta's Avengers, so a lot of pressure on the line, and they're going to take the conservative approach, which I quite like. All on characters that are very comfortable on. We'll see what happens.
I like T3 God on this one. He's playing a very comfortable hero here as he gets into the fray early on, gets a pick, but unfortunately they lose 2 here, and it's down to Ruby. It all comes down to this. Let's take a little listen in.
I think Bobby Plays is last alive here, and well, excuse me, sorry, it was Seam last alive. Bobby Plays and Kairos holding top ground.
I would try to go to the left.
I think one of the things here, Lance, we're hearing is not only their comms, but also a bit of echo. But
that's why you just got to stop talking, Goats. This is all on you, my friend. And now it's gone completely. It's all good. We're back. No more listen in. It's great that they are listening to us, though, getting maybe some cues a minute behind. But it all comes down to Bobby Plays and Kairos time here. And I believe Kairos was on Judex, if I remember correctly. I'm not quite sure. Yeah, it does look like Judex up there. And then Bobby Plays playing Hunter this time around. So Ruby's got a shot here, to be honest with you. Just has to get in the right position. They know where she's at. I think you just jump up there, drop the old shield, do whatever damage you can, because you gotta get something in here before the zone closes.
Seems gonna play slow. Huge opportunity, but he's looking weak. Make sure to find those resources. Gonna cover his rotate with the shields, trying to find some heals inside. Everything riding on this, and they find the elimination. They stay in this finals. That was a key linchpin moment. Power Bang, we were knocking on the door of giving away $6,000 to Aletta's Avengers, but no, not yet. They say, wait a minute, we're not done yet. We're gonna stay in this battle.
That was almost such a clutch play from Wasim. He got the kill with Ruby, took down Hunter, but Judex able to finish him off. That is not what he was hoping for there. But that's the way the cookie crumbles sometimes. That'll put 1 point on the board now for Gloria's Gladiators, and that is 2 for Alita's Avengers. So again, on to the next round. We will have a 4th map coming up. Let's take a peek at Judex here. As you can see, her abilities, again, played a big role in Clash, was the key decider in 2 different rounds during that particular scrim. And again, the active ability there with the flash grenade, essentially, and the ultimate ability with the Dragon Breath Bomb can play a big factor. But again, it's all about that repeater. It does so much damage, 1,960 damage. You land a few of those shots, especially headshots, and that's all you need with a little bit of Judex.
And I think Judex 2 is one of those heroes that if you're joining for the first time, or maybe you just downloaded while you were watching the broadcast because TapTap has been making this all possible, it might take you a little bit to unlock, but when you do, it's one of those heroes that can really turn the tide of battle. So make sure you go download T3 right now on TapTap. Click that link in the description, click that pinned message, and go unlock Judex. It can work in your favor, especially if maybe you work through some of the community tournaments that T3 Arena's putting on, and you show up in a $10,000 battle like Rodeo or T3 God, who came from the community. They've got all kinds of amazing titles over there on TapTap, beside T3 Arena, so go check out all the different titles. And of course, their TapTap Presents Showcase that's coming up later this month.
I saw some good ones there for sure, Coach. Definitely scoping out the list, and yeah, I can't wait. So TapTap, again, thank you for putting this on. Definitely excited to see what's going to happen. The next round is underway, and we have ourselves some funhouse going on right now. This is great. We've got a TDM. This is Brave Walk Kingdom. We're going to see some launchers here as the characters are able to jump multiple levels all the way up to the enemy spawn, and they realize, hey, I think we've missed each other.
Right. No, and I know you talked about how this is one of your favorite maps, and I couldn't agree more. It's one of just when when you're playing public lobbies, the maps rotate, which is really cool. You get a chance to check out all the different maps. This is one of the first maps I ever played when I was playing T3 Arena, and I fell in love with it quickly. Now we're back to TDM, like Powerbang said, so this is just the first of 20. No objective, just find eliminations. I would say, though, Lance, the objective is stay alive and work together as a team, and I think these teams are doing, well, just that, except when Hua Ling's ult comes in and wipes you out before you have moments notice. Lex somehow stays up.
I think as players gain more experience, you start to understand the timing of the ults that are being played. You can see T3 God there playing Hua Ling, 35% charged on that ultimate. It comes up fairly frequently, and if you have players grouped up, say good night, they will get absolutely wrecked. Really, only Jabali is able to survive 3 blasts from Hua Ling. Everyone else is going to get chipped away at, so you don't want to be grouped up like they are right now as he closes in on another ultimate ability.
Exactly. Lex has found his hero. He knows his main character now. It is Jabali. 5-2 thus far. Again, this can be a bit of a war of attrition. Of course, you're going for these eliminations, but sometimes you want to play it slow, especially when you find yourself at a player disadvantage. Oh no, Bobby gets booped off the map. I think it was Rodeo with that knockback ult from Hunter that was able to do that. Very impressive job thus far.
Wow, T3 God able to pick Jabali, but ultimately goes down. Wasim making him pay. Kairos getting the trade, though. This is really intense action early on in this one. 7-5 in favor of Aletta's Avengers, and if they get to 21st, they are taking home our first prize of $6,000. If Gladiators are able to persevere here, they will force a 5th and ultimately deciding final map. And so excited to see how this one ends up panning out. 7-6 now is our score.
Lance, this is the nail biter we wanted. It is so tight. Match point. There's a potential reverse sweep. I mean, what more could you ask for from the finals of the TapTap All-Stars event? Of course, featuring the game on your screen right now, T3 Arena. Lexus, not in my house. The Jabali ult yet again, reflecting all of the damage back at his opponents. Wasim's getting involved. Finds T3 God. It's 8-7. They're going to go on a hunting spree here to try to find Kairos. Kairos just says, oh, I got to run away. I'm going to try to link up with Bobby, still playing Mark, has found himself very comfortable on that hero as well, and excited to see what they're able to do, especially when Rodeo plays the aggressive stance. But Wasim from down under, from Australia itself, finds an elimination to make it a 9-7, make it 10-7. They are not relenting.
Oh, it's a 3-on-1. It's a push, and that is a full wipe right now. Wasim getting it done. 11-7 right now. Will they retreat and stay passive? It looks like they will. They're going to go downstairs, control the basement, and all of these full heals. That is the place to be on this map. And this is getting to be a little troublesome right now for T3 God and Gloria's Gladiators. They've got some work cut out for them. 13 kills needed in order to get the victory here. There's one of them.
Yeah, able to find one. A great Hua Ling ult to secure one elimination. You'd love to have grabbed a couple there, but it did give you that player advantage you needed to start closing the gap. 11-9. See the Hunter using that speed boost in the recon to make sure nobody else is close by. Of course, we can see where everybody's at, but some of these characters can also see that with some of their abilities. Hunter being one of those can spot the enemies and help them out. And all of a sudden, what was a 4 or 5 point deficit has been dwindled to 1. Power bang, 50 seconds left. Over $3,000, $6,000 on the line for first, but $3,000 on the line in this map. A monster effort here from Kairos, Bobby, and T3 God to keep it close. Can they swing it back in their favor?
They can, but that was the ultimate worst thing that could have happened right there. They got split. Rodeo tried to get away and was able to survive and ultimately got picked right as his team respawned. So now it's a 2v3. Ultimately, that doesn't pan out. And now the lead has shifted back to T3 God. Glorious Gladiators now in control, 12-11. And they're staying super tight right now. All three of them staying together. Look at this.
Run away. You have the
7,
advantage.
6.
Run. 5, 4, 3, Lance 2, 1, and they grab
Get the pick.
Are you kidding me? We are going to game 5. Lance, I came out of my seat on that one.
Energy Canyon, baby. It's time for the Crystal Assault we've been waiting for. This is what I'm talking about. We have ourselves a 5th and final game that will decide all of the marbles of TapTap All-Stars T3 Arena Tournament. We've got the Elitists Avengers taking on Glorious Gladiators, and that was something special. We're going to be taking it over to Energy Canyon, as I mentioned, and again, the crystal exists near each opponent's spawns, but in Energy Canyon, we've got a treacherous canyon running right through the center of the map. You have to go with launchers over the top of it. The great thing about this map is the speed at which you can counterattack. So if you do get a team wipe, you're able to get to the enemy crystal incredibly fast, much faster than you were able to on Terminal Station.
All right, Lance, you broke it down for us. It's Energy Canyon. It's your favorite map. It's your favorite game mode. Give me the Power Bang Pro strats. What's the key to success for either of these teams? It's tied 2-2 in a best of 5. This is the last map, no matter what. This is
two things.
Go ahead. This is a $3,000 map of Crystal Assault. $3,000 on the line, this map only.
Somebody please pick Johnny Jet. Somebody please pick Diggy. If you pick them, you win. Period. Pick those heroes. They're broken on Energy Canyon and on this map. They're fast. They're, you can escape the enemy. They're incredible. So pick Johnny Jet, pick Diggy, especially Diggy on this one. So I hope I've made my point clear. Please, we haven't seen them today. I've gotten my wish of Energy Canyon. I've gotten my wish of a 5th and final map. And now if I can just get my Diggy, then I'll be happy.
Well, look, this has been such a fun event. TapTap has made it possible. They have a modicum of different game titles. You can go check out some exclusive, some amazing content on TapTap, including T3 Arena. We had just a glimpse at the players' choices going into Energy Canyon. I see Bobby playing the tried and true. We see a Sindri. What else do we see here? Lance, I guess you might be a little bit dismayed to notice a couple of the choices here, but we do see a Sindri at least.
We got Sindri, Mark, and Hualing taking on a Hunter, a Gloria, and an Aletta. So solid choices for sure, but not the ones I was hoping for. That is all right, though. T3 got on the familiar Hualing. Definitely a strong choice here, but again, not incredibly strong at the crystals. So you're going to see him try to control the midfield and keep positioning for his squad. You can see already the crystal being damaged by Wasim. Aletta, a pain in the butt, an absolute pest, and Wasim doing numbers here on the crystal.
Again, this is going to be a battle of swings, the push and the counter push over and over again, like an undulating pendulum of a grandfather clock. It's going to swing back and forth. The question is who is going to finish that clock strike as it strikes midnight? Who will walk away with the extra $3,000 in their pocket? So far, Wasim doing numbers on the base early. The question is, will it come back to bite him? Or honestly, this is really where he found most of his success earlier. So if Wasim can keep pestering, I think there's a huge opportunity for Aletta's Avengers to take this home.
Great stop there by Rodeo on T3 God. T3 God said, you know what? I'm taking this into my hands. I'm going to take Hualing and go do damage to the crystal. But that's not a great role for Hualing, at least early on before damage multipliers come in. She is immediately eliminated. They lose position. And now it is on Hunter, Aletta, and Rodeo all in the spawn. They've chipped this down to 50%, and they are going to keep going. Kairos time. T3 God trying to stop them, but it is difficult with the moves Wasim is putting on.
Unbelievable. Nice save to at least prevent a full wipe here. Now, again, the Crystal Assault can swing with 1% left in a massive wave. We've just reached that 2x multiplier on that base damage. Now, you want to play a bit more passive. You can see Syndra's going to go ahead and use her ult and make sure that you do not push to that Crystal. If there's a full team wipe here, Kairos goes down and it's a wide open base, this could be an opportunity to put this map away. We've got 2.5 minutes left, and finally we're getting a bit of damage on blue, but not before Lex can come in and say, no, not today. It's not happening.
That's the key is when somebody does make it to your spawn and they're attacking your crystal, if you can at least slow them down by being a distraction, make them fight you instead of doing damage to the crystal like Lex did there, it prevents damage. And you can see the quick counterattacks. They're back over on the crystal. Is this going to be it? Can Kairos stop him?
Wasim can't go down. Kairos doing everything they can. They're finally able to eliminate it, but not before Wasim can drop another 15% or so. We're about to go to 3 times. This is the counter.
Big counter.
This
Big
is
counter.
where we can tie it up or even swing it back their direction. It looks like Rodeo's going to go and just push the other base and say,
they're going all or nothing.
This is insane. Look at the swing. 34.
They're going all or nothing. No defense. It's Wasim on the other side. Can he get there in time? They save it 19-17. Here comes the counter push. Ling goes from spawn, and here it is, 1v3, and no, they can't. Aletta's Avengers takes the gold medal. Just like that, they come back from nothing, and they're able to put the crown on their head. Aletta's Avengers are champions of the TapTap All-Stars tournament. Incredible.
Powerbank, my question for you, we're going to talk about the winners, but did that live up to your expectations? Was that what you wanted in that final map?
It surpassed my my expectations. I didn't see the heroes that I wanted, but I certainly saw the action that I wanted. We saw the wild swings. We saw the damage multipliers. We saw mid control. We saw even some spawn swing arounds. That was incredible stuff. And again, I got to give my MVP to Wasim. That guy was incredible on Aletta. He showed us his moves earlier on at the terminal station. And again, there on Energy Canyon. Really, Crystal Assault was his jam. And you can see Aletta there representing the Aletta Avengers, just doing absolute work with that hollow dash active ability, and then the double jump on display once again during that map. Really good stuff from Team Aletta's Avengers.
Just too hard to hit. It's the hollow dash. He just kept dicing around, throwing some more damage at the base. I'm staying alive. I'm putting in the work. And then the final push of 2 to 3 people. Hualing would have potentially won that fight 1v multiple situation, but just didn't have enough time because of the amount of damage that they were able to put out in a short amount of time. It was a 3 times multiplier, and that's it. Now, we saw an incredible final match. We saw a map 5 of a best of 5. We saw Glorious Gladiators just have their way with the round robin. They could do whatever they wanted. They were untouchable. They didn't drop a map. And then all of a sudden in the finals, their competition ramped up. And quickly we saw Aletta's Avengers go up 2-0. And finally they said, okay, we got to play in round 3. We're going to come out to play. And it went to round 5 of Clash to keep their dreams alive. They tied up 2-2. And then the final match does go in Aletta Avengers' way. And Powerbank, you said it perfectly. I think the fact that Wasim was playing Aletta on Aletta's Avengers made that even more of a sweet victory, let alone $6,000 they're taking home courtesy of TapTap.
A good omen for sure. Incredible stuff all the way around. I do believe we have one more giveaway for the audience, so we should probably bring that up. And thank you guys for sticking around and seeing the action. You can go right here and use the code TapTap All-Stars 2. Many of you guys, big brains, have figured out the pattern so far, but you can do that. Go, just tell them where to go. Enter that code.
You've heard it once, you've heard it 1,000 times, but I'll make sure you know for this last code. And I want to say this is a Rumble box. I already used it myself while I was talking. It's a Rumble box. Go pick it up right now. Menu, top right-hand corner. Go to options, go to account, and then click that redeem code button and type in TapTap All-Stars 2 right down below us, in between us now. Go take advantage of that opportunity. Now, Powerbank, I gotta say, we gotta give a huge shout out to all of the creators that participated today. All 4 teams, we really thank you for being here. Whether you got rounded immediately in semifinals and just decimated, or you found your way to the finals and walked away with $6,000. $6,000. Huge congratulations to everybody. Everybody makes a little bit of money. Our 3rd and 4th place teams will still be walking away with $500 apiece, spread out between all 3 of those players. $6,000 to our 1st place team, Aletta's Avengers, and $3,000 still going to Gladiators, Glorious Gladiators at the end of the day. So thank you for the great content. Thank you for the great tournament power bank. This is everything we could have asked for, and it's all because of TapTap. They've got a lot going on over there. TapTap makes it easy for gamers to find new things to fall in love with as well. They build authentic connections around video games, and if you're loving this game so far, you can actually go leave a comment and a review on T3's page on TapTap right now. They also give you suggestions for all the different game titles that are hot right now. It's a really cool community building app where you can download all of your favorite mobile game titles and also discover more. They're the reason we've been able to make this whole event possible, so go download it right now. You can follow them on their socials. They've got a lot coming up. I've mentioned TapTap Presents. It's a digital showcase where they get to show all the new updates and new games coming to the mobile TapTap store, so stay tuned for that. That is July 23rd at 4 a.m. Pacific, 7 a.m. Eastern on YouTube, Twitch, and on the TapTap app. That's all.
Incredible stuff,
Lance.
Yeah, that was quite the read there, Coach. Congratulations on that. If you guys haven't already done so, definitely download the TapTap store, check out all of the games. Don't forget to follow T3 Arena as well on their social medias. If you like the game, download the game through TapTap. If you would, join us in the arena. This has been incredible. Absolutely loved some of the world's first action that we've been seeing through this T3 Arena content. Brand new update just dropped yesterday. Make sure you snag that through the TapTap store. Again, I think we should send it out of here, Goj. My name's been Powerbang. This is Goj for the TapTap All-Stars. Again, huge congratulations to Wasim, to Lex, and to the Rodeo at Aletta's Avengers as they won the championship in the first ever TapTap All-Stars tournament. Goj, any final words for us before we send it off?
Look, we've told all the stories that can be told. We got everything we could have asked for, but I got to give a shout out as well to the Rodeo. Had a bit of technical trouble. He downloaded the app via TapTap, came back into the competition, and then led his team to victory, of course, with Lex and Wasim by his side.
I got an idea.
Okay, yeah, go for it.
The Rodeo, you got $2,000, my friend. Why don't you go get you a new phone? All right, so word from Powerbang has been given down. Anyways, congratulations, my man. Enjoy the prize money again from us here at the desk. My name's Powerbang. This has been Goj, and for TapTap All-Stars, we're out of here. Until next time, we'll see you in the arena.